For more than 80 years, the greatest names in golf have crossed paths at Cherry Hills. But for the first time, the greatest championship in women's golf has arrived. And today, its most cherished trophy is at stake. The title made precious by the pioneers of the game, who passed it along from one generation to the next. A 60-year passionate quest to be the best. Each champion feeling the unsurpassed surge of emotions that are reserved for a title this big. The week began with a golfer who's turned everybody's head. But Annika Sorenstam's quest for the unprecedented slam has been in danger of sliding away. Roughed up by Cherry Hills. And yes, take a deep breath, everybody. A 15-year-old amateur who walks, acts, and plays like someone ready for a transcendent moment in sport. And if Michelle Wie falls short, Morgan Pressel's got the game, the confidence, and the look to bring it home, even if she's only 17. Then there's 18-year-old Paula Creamer. And don't let the pretty and pink look fool you. She says she's now ready for a major breakthrough in the U.S. Women's Open. NBC Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today it's live final round coverage of the 60th U.S. Women's Open. Championship Sunday at historic Cherry Hills in the mile-high rarefied air of Colorado, where everybody from Babe Zaharias to Arnold Palmer to Phil Mickelson have won prestigious titles. Today on this classic William Flynn course, which has now staged 8 USGA championships, it's the final push for a title that defines this sport, because there's no bigger title than being called the United States Women's Open champion. And there are some butterflies circling around Cherry Hills today as they are in search of that trophy. Annika Sorenstam, who began the day well back, missed the first 2 fairways. That's her second at the second in her quest for the third leg of this Grand Slam. So 2 bogeys in the first 2 holes for Annika, 7 behind at that point. Paula Creamer, a disastrous start for the 18-year-old. Her second at the first, 3-putted that green. 2 double bogeys in the first 5 holes for her. Michelle Wie also off to a rough start. And the Cherry Hills rough is just giving all of these golfers all they can handle. That's her second at the first. And then her 4th at this first. Double bogey start for Michelle Wie. Also bogeys at the 3rd and the 4th. She's dropped to +5 and is 4 behind now. Karen Stupples, the 32-year-old from England, also off to a rough start. Tied for the 54-hole lead. Her second at the first. A bogey start for Stupples. So, who would be handling the nerves the best at the get-go? 17-year-old Morgan Pressel. After a stress-free par at the first, long birdie try at the second. And Pressel to even par and the leader of the championship. But Stupples playing in that final group with Morgan. A comeback birdie to get it back to +1 at that same second hole. And yes, Stupples, the reigning women's British Open champion, calming the nerves. And if there were any nerves in Morgan Pressel, you might see him here. Delicate little third shot at the par 4 third, feeding it down nicely on her way to saving par and remaining at even par on the lead of the championship. The winner last week in Rochester, Lorena Ochoa, who teed off 2 hours before the final group, looking for her 3rd birdie in the last 4 holes. This one at 13, and Ochoa, who made 6 birdies in the last 7 holes to put it away last week, is the hottest player on the golf course. In the meantime, Pressel, after another delicate shot, which set up it looked like a par saver, misses that. So the first sign of nerves for Pressel. A bogey there, drops to +1. And 23-year-old Birdie Kim, who changed her name so she would stand out a little bit from the other Kims on tour. A birdie for her at the 5th to get it down to +2. Kim in her first U.S. Women's Open and playing in just her 3rd major championship is a stroke off the lead, being shared at the moment by Morgan Pressel, who, like Wee, is trying to become the youngest major champion in golf history. Tied for the lead right now. Here's Kim at +2. Ochoa, who knows what kind of number she can post. It might be good enough. Michelle Wie there, 4 off the pace. Angela Stanford, a runner-up a couple of years ago at Pumpkin Ridge. 88 champion Lisa Lott Neumann at +6, still with another side to play here. And there is Annika Sorenstam, a full 7 shots off the pace in search of the 3rd leg of the Grand Slam. And let's get out to the 15th and pick up Lorena Ochoa. This for another birdie at the long par 3 15th.
Not that hard of a putt, very flat around the hole. Tough hole location here. But a very smart shot to the left side of the green, and watch this coming down there. Is it going to get there? That might have been in.
Ochoa 2 under and around the day, and we pick up the action at 7 with Gary Koch.
Thank you, Dan. This the easiest par 4 on the golf course. This a moment ago. Angela Stanford putt for a birdie. Nicely done. Moves her back to 4 over par for the championship. And of course, Stanford was one of the few who shot 69 in the opening round to share the lead. And we go back to the 4th. Excuse me, we go back to the 5th.
And this is the par 5, Gary, and Roger Maltby is out there with this group, Raj.
Well, we saw Morgan Pressel have her first little hiccup back to the 3rd, missing a short putt here. A chunked wedge has left her about 45 feet. Ooh. This one's hammered.
That's just exploded. Whoa, and almost nails herself with a putter after giving it a slap. She will show you emotion.
Well, so far this week she's controlled it pretty well. She's going to have to get it back under control in a hurry here.
Oh, she is just all out of sorts. It was a great start for her. Had that birdie at the 2nd. And over at the 6th, this is Birdie Kim. We showed you her birdie at the 5th. This at the par 3 6th, out of the rough on the back. And she's going to have a par tester coming back. We are seeing these golfers struggle with this Sunday pressure at Cherry Hills with a trophy on the line. And back over to Karen Stupples and the final pairing at the 5th, Raj.
And at what time this ball was within about 15 feet of the hole, had to spin it back at least 20 feet. Now a lengthy birdie attempt, I want to say from 35 feet, drastically uphill, and should break to the left in the area of the cup. Doesn't do much during most of the putt, but as it loses speed, should move a little left.
Stupples a bit lost among all of the attention on these teenagers and young players vying for this championship, but it was a good comeback birdie for her at the 2nd, and she's won a major championship, Dottie.
Well, she has, and she has come so far with her golf game, especially over the last 3 years. Tied the all-time scoring record for major championship last year when she did win that Women's British Open, and you're right, she's gone kind of under the radar, and wouldn't be horribly surprised to see her lingering right there with just a couple holes to go.
What's the best part of her game, Dottie?
She doesn't really have any weaknesses, Johnny. Nothing stands out. Doesn't drive the ball particularly straight, but she's so strong that she hits a bunch of greens in regulation.
Over at the 6th, this was Michelle Wie and her birdie try. It has been one tough start. +4 in the first 5 holes, and still looking for her first birdie of this final round. Again, Wie a part of the 3-way tie for the lead through 54 holes. And now here's Birdie Kim at the 6th, Jane.
Well, this putt's pretty much straight uphill, about 20 feet. Her lie in the back part of the screen was just impossible for her to get the ball close. but she is coming pretty much right up the fall line, as Johnny would say. I think it's going to do a whole lot.
So Kim follows up a birdie with a bogey at 6.
And over at the 16th, Lorena Ochoa getting ready for her second shot here at the par 4.
With a 6-iron, Gary, ball low below her feet. Slight breeze in her face.
Cut in the back left portion of this green. We've seen a lot of good shots here today.
Well, that green's really firming up, like a lot of them out here.
She'll still have a makeable putt from the fringe as we go to 5.
This was a moment ago for par. Pressel trying to avoid back-to-back bogeys after a solid start. She will drop 2 in a hurry at 4 and 5. Tap that in to get to +2. And so Stupples the lead by herself over at the 5th. And this for par to remain there, 1 clear of Pressel, 2 in front of Birdie Kim. Oh. Stupple's going to drop at least 1 here. So even though Pressel has had back-to-back bogeys, she's going to have a share of the lead.
Well, what it's really doing is bringing a lot more people into this championship.
Well, Lorena Ochoa right now is looking really nice, I'll tell you that.
Ochoa through 15 holes at +4. So let's take a quick look at this leaderboard, get you up to date. Pressel and Stupples tied at +2. And then you've got Birdie Kim. There's Ochoa with a tough par 4 16th left, a par 5 17th, and then the toughest hole here at Cherry Hills, that 18th, which plays way up the hill. And speaking of Lorena, she was just checking out the scoreboard over at 16 to get an idea of where she's at, and she's only 2 behind. As the intensity here, Dottie and Johnny, has ratcheted it up a few notches in just the last few moments with everyone struggling. Let's first talk about how big this championship is, Dottie, and maybe we're seeing a little bit of just how big it is out there today on this final round.
Well, I think that's the case, Dan. We know that the USGA sets up their championships to really examine every aspect of your game, and part of that on Sunday is the game between your ears. And we're seeing a little bit of that being addressed early. Talk about a player who's got a lot going on between her ears, and it's all good, is Morgan Pressel. 4.0 student, headed to Duke with a verbal commitment there for next year, but this will be her hardest final for sure.
Johnny, this has the look of Pinehurst last Sunday. There are some rough starts out here.
Well, I was looking at a player maybe that went out early, like Ochoa, who's a couple under par for the day and now +4, and she is looking like she has about a 50% chance of maybe doing it. But you know, the women's open, the men's open, same thing. The first hour, you'll see what players have got it sort of together, and every player in the last 10 twosomes, that's 20 players, is over par today. So that shows you that first hour shows a huge amount of the choke factor, and then the players settle down for the next 2 hours, and then the last hour the same thing happens again. So it'll be interesting to see if Ochoa can get in. She'll get in and post that score, so watch out for her right now.
All right, out to Stupples, the co-leader at the par 3-6, the 165 yards. She is in this final pairing with Morgan Pressel, and so is Roger Maltby.
7-iron here for Stupples. Hole cut back left. Starts this ball right, drawing it left to the green. This will miss left.
Same shot she hit at number 1, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, kind of a pull hook.
Big old come over to the top pull hook.
16.
Lorena Ochoa, birdie putt from the fringe.
This is a very slippery 15 feet she has to negotiate.
Should be moving to her right as it gets down near the hole.
Look at this.
She hit it. Did she hit it? Yes, she did.
Wow.
So Lorena Ochoa's 4th birdie on the back 9 moves her to 3 over par for the championship.
En fuego, Gary.
I guess.
Guadalajara.
Well, just like last week, Dan, when she birdied 6 of the last 7 to claim the title.
Arnold Palmer back in 1960. As you look at her card, Gary, birdied 6 of the first 7 in that final round to come from 7 shots back of Mike Suchak, and this is a little reminiscent of the Palmer charge at Cherry Hills here.
Well, Johnny, you were saying the back 9 set up for good scores today.
Yeah, the hole locations on the back are much easier than they've been all week.
This is Pressel at the 6th.
Absolutely cannot miss it long or left.
And what did she do?
Long and left.
Must be pumped up, that one, a full club long.
So it's Pressel and Stupples who've both missed the 6th green. Lorena Ochoa from Guadalajara, Mexico at +3 with her latest birdie in the 60th U.S. Women's Open Championship. Our broadcast team for this 60th U.S. Women's Open. You've already heard from Gary Koch out on the tower. Roger Maltby in that final pairing. Kay Cockrell, the 2-time women's amateur champ, along with Jane Crafter out here at Cherry Hills. David Fay with us, the executive director of the United States Golf Association. And we go out to the 6th. And after Stupples was long and left, what she have left, Raj?
Well, she doesn't have much. Very heavy lie. Obviously, a blind shot cannot see the green. About 12 feet of green to work with, and the green runs away from her.
Just want to get it 15 feet past the hole and give yourself a chance.
It's about what she did. That's about all she had.
She should have run up and watched how that thing broke.
Tee at 17.
Critical tee shot here for Lorena Ochoa with a 3 metalwood. A lot of determination in that look, Johnny.
Sure is, especially after 77 yesterday, right there with the lead. And it looked like she just blew herself right out of this championship. And who would have thought she'd do what she's doing on the back 9? 3 under par for the day, Ochoa.
Raj Morgan Pressel now.
Well, got very fortunate. Really, the ball kind of ended up in a little round patch where the grass is not long. And it's not a bare spot, so she might be able to get a little bit of spin on this ball, but she's still going to have to land it short of the green. If she lands it on the green, it's going to go well past, I believe.
Okay, so after back-to-back bogeys for Pressel, facing another, well, this is a long par putt. And over to 7.
Michelle Wie, second shot, 142 yards with a 9-iron.
Nice little.
Yeah, a little 3/4 motion, trying to hold it on line, Johnny, and the line's good.
Almost like a little stinger.
Beautiful shot. Her playing competitor Birdie Kim hit a nice shot as well. She's got about 15 feet left for her 3 there at the 7th.
Here at this 6th, long par try now for Morgan Pressel, Roger, and she went from a cool 17-year-old to the emotional roller coaster here in a hurry.
Well, I was amazed at the start. I mean, she almost had a swagger. She had so much confidence. It was almost shocking to me. Missed that little putt on 4th, and now things are kind of coming unwound. This now uphill, about 30 feet, will break to her left.
Left it short on the last hole.
Hit the punt.
Not even close, right?
Not a good effort at all.
Dottie head kind of spinning at this point right now.
Your heart's beating way too fast and your head's spinning like a top.
Well, you got to remember though, she's still tied for the lead. I mean, you got to say, hey, it could be 5 under and I'm still tied for the lead. It doesn't matter what you are. It's just you're tied for the lead. You got to forget what's happening and say, hey, I'm in great shape on Roger, tied for the lead. So what? So what? I'm struggling a little bit. So you just got to regroup and say, hey, still in great shape.
Well, I would agree with that, but maybe hard to do at this point.
Yeah.
This is at 14. Natalie Gulbis at +5 for birdie. She's birdied 2 of the last 3 holes and comes up short there. Gulbis, after a first round 70, was just a shot out of the lead and is having her finest year by far here in 2005 to 7.
Birdie Kim for a birdie.
Gary, this putt looks like it wants to break a little bit left to right early and then kind of flatten out as it gets to the hole.
Birdie Kim, her second birdie in 3 holes, moves her back to 2 over par and right atop the leaderboard.
Living up to her name, Gary.
Yeah, she certainly is. And of course, she's going to be ahead of Pressel because Pressel has a bogey putt as we go to 6.
And a long par attempt. And that's not going to get there.
Very tentative.
So Birdie Kim, who changed her name, Dottie, from Ju Yoon because she wanted to stand out from all the Kims in the starting field. 7 Kims in this starting field.
And you talk about an absolute Cinderella story. She's only made 6 out of 13 starts in the cut she's made, and really hasn't done much. I think Pressel's got a more impressive record than Kim.
For bogey, Pressel, and rolls it in. So Pressel with 3 straight bogeys at +3, still just 1 off the lead. And over to 7.
Michelle Wie for birdie. Be her first of the day.
You believe that?
No. She can't either, Johnny.
That went right through the hole. That'd almost make you want to cry. She had to have that, Gary.
Yeah, I agree, Johnny. Had to get it turned around. We go back to the 6th.
And Stupples for bogey, Raj.
Not much left to remove a little bit to left, probably inside the right.
Okay, so 2 bogeys in a row for Stupples. She's tied with Pressel, 1 off the lead by Birdie Kim. Let's go to 17.
Important layup shot here at the par 5 for Lorena Ochoa.
Pretty narrow down there, huh, Gary?
Yes, it is.
Guys, she really took a long time figuring out which club to pull. Perhaps trying to decide with a caddy just the yardage she wanted for her 3rd.
Well, she's got it well back, and that's good. The hole is cut in the front right portion of the green. You want a full shot. And we'll go back to 8.
And here is Birdie Kim on the tee. Jane Crafter is there for the South Korean, who's birdied 2 out of the last 3 to take the lead by herself.
Well, this hole today, Dan playing 200 yards, slight wind into their faces, and the players cannot see the base of the flagstick. There's a gaping bunker that stops them from seeing the base of the flagstick. Hole located only on 11 from the front over that, so prudent play. Johnny and Dottie would certainly be to the right.
Jane, how big of a surprise is this to you to have Birdie Kim doing this well? She really hasn't done too much as a pro over here in the U.S.
I would agree with that. I have not seen her play before, and I've been impressed. She looks very, very steady, very composed, and this is her 7-wood.
Jane, yesterday she made the comment all she was trying to do is hit every shot in the middle of the green. Be a great play here.
Choking down on it. There's a little cut across move there.
And that's heading to the right.
That was a definite cut across big time, and that better get a good bounce. It's right there by that bush, sitting right in the shade right there.
And we'll keep it here for Michelle Wie, who at +5, despite a double bogey start and bogeys at 3 and 4, is just 3 out of the lead.
There's just nothing like U.S. Open pressure. I mean, it's a whole new ball game. You think you're ready for it. The Paula Creamers and Michelle Wies and Morgan Pressels, they got a lot of swagger, young age, but I'll tell you, there is something about Sunday at the U.S. Open that is, there's nothing like it. It's the ultimate gut check. It's the ultimate, see how your swing is, the ultimate how you think, where you miss the ball. Whether you can make a 3-footer or a 2-footer like Michelle Wie just missed. Really an aggressive swing there.
Starting at the middle of the green, drawing a little bit left.
Green is quite firm here. There's not much back to front tilt, so the ball's going to chase through.
Over to the tee at 15, Natalie Gulbis, par 3, 183 yards today. Gulbis 1 under on this Sunday. Birdies at 11 and 13.
Very difficult hole location, very front right. That right bunker's in play. And that's a good shot. There's not any break around that hole. It's almost flat everywhere. That's a makeable putt.
And over to 12.
This is the amateur Brittany Lang, just 19 years of age. And this a putt for a birdie 2. Chance to move to 5 over. Confidently stroked, so Brittany Lang is going strong. Even par in her final round. That's 3 birdies in her last 5 holes. As we move back to 17, Lorena Ochoa getting ready for her 3rd.
The shot right here can win her the Open.
86 yards shot, just a smooth 56-degree wedge.
Well, she's spinning it back down the hill. She's going to have a chance. Lorena Ochoa will have that 15-foot birdie putt at the 17th hole for her 5th birdie on the back 9. Well, it's the final round of the 60th U.S. Women's Open Championship from Cherry Hills. There's a lot happening. Stay with us.
Moment ago at 17, the crowd recognizing just what kind of special Sunday 23-year-old Lorena Ochoa is experiencing. The Rookie of the Year on the LPGA Tour a couple of years ago, already has collected 3 wins. And Johnny, what about this defensive measure here after the swing here at 17?
The big problem here is 20 feet to here. Sure, is water here, and here's water. So watch what she does here. She'll actually do a Gary Player, take a step, and what that does when you can take that step is, if anything, you might hit the ball one groove down, but you'll never hit it fat if you make that step. So she eliminates the chance of going in the water. A very wise move right there.
And it's Morgan Pressel's 2nd at the par 4 7th.
From 149, this ball a little bit right of the hole.
Bet.
Karen Stupples drove her ball well right of the fairway, had to punch out from there, and has chipped it through the fairway and still in the long rough.
Over at 8.
This was Birdie Kim a moment ago after missing wildly right.
Lucky she has a swing, I can tell you that, from where she hit it. So that's a very, very fortunate break and a great recovery.
That to remain at +2. And over to 14. A look at Annika Sorenstam. This her par putt. That bogey start kind of derailed any chances that she thought she might have a glimmer of hope on this Sunday. That for par remains at +8. Still 6 behind as Annika's running out of holes here. Next Saturday night on NBC, it's the Pepsi 400 live in prime time from Daytona. And with NASCAR's chase to the championship fast approaching, every race is important. Don't miss all the stars and the lights in prime time of the Pepsi 400. It all begins with the Bank of America countdown to green next Saturday at 7 Eastern time, 4 Pacific here on NBC. Defending champion Meg Mallon from the Orchards last year, a 2nd shot finishing up, +2 round going today.
Hardest hole in the golf course right here, and that's going to be a beauty.
Yeah, that's a little preview, folks, of what the contenders have left.
That would be a wonderful shot to hit, Dottie, wouldn't it? In another hour and a half, 2 hours.
Well, she could sell that one for a lot of cash. You're right.
Longest par 4 in U.S. Women's Open history. And here's Michelle Wie from the back collar.
Got to get the right speed. It's hopping a little on Dottie.
Well, it's hard for it not to coming out of there, but then sometimes you just have no different play.
Yeah, nice one there by Wie playing with Kim. Could be a couple of nice par saves for the duo at the 8th to 17.
Where Lorena Ochoa has this putt down the hill for birdie. Dan, she was saying earlier this week she took a couple of weeks off here recently, went back to Mexico, spent some time with her family, and came back with what she called a simple head, not thinking too much and not putting too much pressure on herself.
It's a tough green to read, Gary. It's so flat. Tom Thorpe, her caddy, you caddy for Nancy Lopez. It's one of those putts that you're trying to find the break, but it's sort of hard to be sure, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very difficult to read. We haven't seen anyone make it from above the hole yet.
Played it to go right, but it is probably a miss
straight.
It's so straight around that hole, and the players are probably trying to find a break, and there isn't any.
All right, good par though. She will move to the 18th tee at +3 for the championship.
Par would be huge for Ochoa to post +3. Very close to her family, Dottie. They travel with her as much as possible. Gary mentioned she went home short time ago.
Well, she did. Great similarities between this golf course this week and last week in Rochester as well.
Gulbis now at 15 for birdie.
Can't pass up too many birdie putts now. Doesn't do a lot at the hole. See it straighten out that last couple feet. That's a good par, but just got to look at Ochoa's number and try to catch that.
This was a moment ago. Michelle Wie for par at 8. And another bogey for Wie. Falls to +6 as we get it back over to 18. This tee shot over the water.
Man. Get a lot of hauntings going through your head right here. I'll tell you that. Even though this fairway is 40 yards wide, it's actually the easiest hole fairway on the course to hit, but you're still thinking about this H2O to the left.
Very similar tee shot to where she hit it in the water at Phoenix in the playoff against Annika Sorenstam. Hit this big old hook that never had a chance.
Oh, it is fat.
Like it hit the ground first with a club, and it's in the water.
That was just a colossal, I hate to use the word choke, but that's what that was. Probably hasn't done that since she was 6 years old.
Look at the divot on the teeing ground.
I mean, she hit that. The tee, I think, is in the middle of that divot. That is really interesting. Watch this. Dressing on the neck of the club, takes it back, moves off the ball, broken left arm there, and just hits it. Colossal chili dip. And she will never forget that shot. You watch, if she would have parred this hole, she would have had a 75% chance of winning this championship. I really believe that.
The hardest thing is now she has to do it all over again from the same spot that is marked as a yellow regular water hazard.
That's just something else.
Right before Ochoa hits another one at 7, Gary.
Yeah, birdie putt for Pressel, and wow.
Well, she's just got the Roberto Duran hands of stone right now.
Yeah. We go back to 18.
And here's Ochoa, 3rd now.
I'm just flabbergasted by that. Ever since we've been watching her on the back 9 today, she's hit nothing but the center of the fairway. Her swing's been good.
I'm telling you, I think that deal
in the rough.
That's dead right there.
I think that deal in Phoenix was in the back of her mind. Similar tee shot.
That's brutal, because that right there makes this a par 5 for sure. She'll just have to hack it out and go in with a very difficult uphill 60-foot rise. 5th shot, I guess it is.
To 7.
This is Morgan Pressel for par. All right, nicely in. They're playing alongside. Karen Stupples made a bogey, so she drops to +4. So Birdie Kim is hanging on to the lead through 8 holes. 1 shot over Morgan Pressel. Lorena Ochoa with the troubles at 18. Whew, it's going to be quite a final round of the 60th U.S. Women's Open Championship. There's Lorena Ochoa. Hard to keep your head up at this point.
Out here in the western part of the United States, the Rockies looming in the background. 60th U.S. Women's Open Championship continues on this intriguing Sunday. Birdie Kim with a lead at the moment by 1 as we go out to 16.
To a young lady who certainly finds herself with a chance. This is Natalie Gulbis. She's at +5. Right in the center of the fairway. Her 2nd shot here at the par 4.
Great drive, huh?
Yeah, perfectly positioned, John.
Nice down grain lie to go into this tiny little green. Picks it off on Gary.
The right one.
Yeah, they like it. They like it.
Good shot.
Yeah, that'll funnel over toward the hole a little bit and leaves her a very makeable putt. We go to the 9th and the 2nd for Birdie Kim, Jane.
And from a perfect side of the fairway on the left, only 173 to this whole location. It's on 11 today. Just a 6-iron.
Yeah, really want to try to keep it a little left of the hole. Leaves you an uphill putt.
And that's where it's headed.
All right, nicely done. The 9th has been the 2nd most difficult hole on the course throughout this championship. As we go to 8.
Morgan Pressel on the tee, 200 yard. par 3.
It's windy on this hole for some reason. It's like a little Ventura in that area, and not too bad there.
Comes up a little short. Pressel tied for second. And over to 10, Angela Stanford for a birdie. Ended her 9 with a bogey and a double, but Stanford still clawing away. Second birdie around that bogey and double in the last 4 holes, so she moves it to +6. And Ochoa, all she can do is chop out with a 4th shot a moment ago. Most difficult hole this week, Johnny. Only 3 birdies all week, and Ochoa paying the ultimate price here.
And this is no easy shot, is it? From here, going up that hill.
Well, when she got up to that shot in the rough, there was absolutely no shot other than just sand wedging it out, and this is just an unbelievable debacle here at the last.
Kay, how's her demeanor seem?
She seems stunned.
Have a hard time believing it could be anything but that at this point.
You don't get that too many brass rings in your hand teeing off at 18, and she had it.
This from 151 yards.
Hole location sort of front left. You can see the flagstick by the bunker.
A shot going way to the right.
And that's up into the stands. Get the
Well, I could say it's a ground rule double, but she'd be lucky if she makes triple.
Again, Ochoa with a 3-under round going before disaster at 18.
Over the 9th a moment ago, Michelle Wie, long club out of this rough. Oh, wow. That was obviously a huge gamble.
And a touch of inexperience, I do believe, starting to show, Gary.
Think so. So we go over to the 8th.
And a long birdie try for Karen Stupples, Roger.
Yeah, this every bit of 45 feet and coming off what you could only describe as a very good bogey after hitting her 4th shot from some 75 yards from the green in the tall primary rough. Got it up and in for 5. First fairway she had missed. Now this lengthy putt that'll move to her left and be downhill slightly, and then maybe straighten up in the area of the cup, but most of the break will be in the first half of the putt.
It's a little slow putting this direction away from the setting sun, Roger.
That's great speed.
Stupples settling down a bit after 3 consecutive bogeys. It is a day to watch leaderboards because of all the changes out there, and Morgan Pressel told us earlier that's the kind of player she is.
I look at every leaderboard that I can possibly find. If I'm on like the opposite hole, I'll be looking over at like trying to squint to see the leaderboard. I don't know why. I have to know exactly what's going on, how everybody's playing, you know, whether someone's made a bogey or a birdie. I mean, I just like to know exactly what I have to do, and whether I have to make a birdie or whether, you know, a par will do.
And Roger, I know you just saw her checking out one of those boards.
Very hard. She stood at the leaderboard at 7 twice.
She may want to check it out in a moment when Ochoa's number at 18 is posted.
Well, it's just so unlike a 17-year-old. Most of their sports psychologists would tell them never to look at a leaderboard, and she seeks them out.
She's a little different type of player. I mean, in this age of all these young players going to academies, I mean, obviously she's played the game from a young age, but she's definitely her own person.
Well, she's a bit of an extrovert type A, and a type A wants to be in control, and they want to know what's going on.
16.
Birdie putt for Gulbis down the hill. Turning a little left. Will it stay up? We go to the 9th. Birdie Kim has a lengthy putt for birdie.
And straight uphill, it's going to be very slow putt against the wind as well. Looks to me like it may want to go a little right to left at the end. Speed the key.
How about this one? Good putt. So Birdie Kim will make the turn at even par, 2 over for the championship. Very steady play as we go back to 8.
For her par, Morgan Pressel.
Yeah.
Remains at +3, 1 behind. Again, trying to become the youngest major champion in the history of this game. It is heady, heady stuff where Pressel is trying to get to. And as Ochoa drops here in front of the stands at 18, we bring in David Fay for an explanation here.
Well, that's a temporary immovable obstruction, and so the relief can be more generous. And she actually had an option because we also have a ball drop over there, and she was going back and forth trying to determine whether to take relief under the rule or to go with the ball drop. And the official there, Sue May, who officiated at the Open, she's going through it with her.
It'll be the 6th shot upcoming for Ochoa at 18-9.
That's the bogey putt of Michelle Wie. And
Can't
it
make
is
a putt.
all coming apart, Johnny.
Just cannot make a putt at all. It just.
That is a 7 over par 42.
Well, Sundays at the Open, it's like putting to an anthill with a thimble on the top.
Well, the fairways look like they're about single file too, and
Yeah.
she's paying the price for both.
That's why whenever you can see someone finish off the last round really in an Open strongly, like Michael Campbell did last week, you got to really congratulate him, because there's a lot of things that go on in your head, and it's very special to see somebody break par the last day.
By the way, congratulations on 73.
Yeah,
That
thanks.
was a pretty good close.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Yes, thanks.
All right, so Ochoa with her 6th shot here at this par 4, and this is one slick, tilted green, Kay.
Oh, you could say that again. She's dropped, has a decent lie, but green is sloping away. She has a lot of green to work with, but just has to get it landed onto the green surface.
Breaks a lot to the left at the end. Hit very softly.
That's
Boy,
kind
that
of a
sure
surprise.
did.
Yeah.
Really checked up.
That was not a good bounce. Popped straight up. It didn't bounce forward like it's supposed to. That's a shame there. She had a better shot than it turned out.
She has that for a triple bogey 7. As we go to Morgan Pressel.
At the 9th, most difficult fairway on the course to hit. Player's just hitting it 55% of the time, but I would say by that reaction she likes it, and she should.
Gary, I think this is one of the hardest fairways to hit I've ever played in my life.
Yeah,
it's a crown. It's got a big roll off both directions. From the center left side, there's a big mound, and everything goes both ways, like the top of your head.
Birdie Kim on the tee at the par 4 10th, 414 yards, leader by 1 over Ochoa and Pressel. Ochoa's going to drop a lot at 18.
Winded her back.
Definite birdie hole if she can hit the fairway, and that might be. Is that going right?
This is headed right, Johnny.
Looked like she wiped it again, and that's not good. That's an easy hole location. The pin is back left, right where it wants to end up. I could see somebody coming very close for almost a gimme birdie with a good iron shot on 10.
So Lorena Ochoa for a triple bogey 7. She has already put in the books one of the greatest careers in collegiate history, and we mentioned that she's the Rookie of the Year. Lots and lots of game, Dottie, but I can't forget what you said before this championship began. If she is able to control a driver that gets a little loose at times, she'll be okay.
Does it gets a little long, as we saw on that replay, and the quick hook is easy to hit.
This putt moves a little left at the hole, and she does not play for it. She played it to be a straight putt. Misread 17, misread 18.
What a finish.
Quadruple bogey 8. Drops 4 shots at the last hole after getting within 1 of the lead, 72. And now she posts +7. Going so well for Lorena Ochoa till that final tee shot at 18. So it's Birdie Kim in the lead by 1 over Pressel. And Ochoa's tough 18th has brought a lot more players into this championship. One she'll think about for a long, long time.
And welcome back to the 60th U.S. Women's Open Championship. We're at number 9. Karen Stupples in the left-hand rough.
Well, in the primary rough, Gary, and has 167 left of the hole now. She doesn't have a wedge out, but I don't believe she can get to the green here. I don't think she can hack it more than maybe 100 yards up the fairway.
Well, we can see the ball. That's new.
Haven't seen anybody hit more than 8-iron out of this rough with any success this week.
Well, she did. She got it up by the green.
That was a little better lie than normal.
Well, this one's not.
Ahead to 10.
Got some green to work with, though.
Birdie Kim's second after missing this fairway at 10.
And she's on the downslope in the primary rough, just over this fairway bunker. Has 143 to the front, 164 all the way to the flag. From this point, it is all downhill. She's got a decent lie, but it's not the worst lie. I don't think she can get it all the way to the hole.
You can run it in, but you don't want to push it or something into the rough and have that 30-yard shot out of the primary cut.
Exactly. You just can't afford to get greedy out of this, Johnny.
Well, maybe she can gear up, play it back in her stance, and just hit it as hard as she can swing.
Looks like an 8-iron.
You got to play it way back in your stance. Almost play for a little bit of a pull. Pull shot gives you more power.
First fairway she's missed all day.
Sounded pretty clean there.
Came out of there pretty well, but it is going left in the front greenside bunker.
Well, it's not the worst spot in the world.
Leader has problems at the 10th as we go to 9.
Morgan Pressel second from 158 yards up the hill. Only hit 2 of the first 8 greens.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, that's beautifully done, Johnny. That is right where you want to leave it. Leaves the uphill putt.
You got to know, 4 is almost a half birdie on this hole. 4 and 18 on 9 and 18. That's a great score.
Over at 16, Annika Sorenstam for par. Drove it in the rough. Third shot to there. That has kind of been the story. The putter has been ice cold.
She's not hitting too many close ones for birdie either. There have been a lot of 30-footers for par.
You don't think Sorenstam's kind of kicking herself, Gary, with these leaders not doing much?
No, no question about that. At 10 over par, she has got to think what might have been.
Sure, a lot of pressure, though, going for that third leg of the Grand Slam.
And some pressure going for that slam. Wimbledon coverage continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. in all time zones. Championships of Wimbledon. Andy Roddick still alive over there. Maria Sharapova, the defending women's champion. All the stars of tennis in action. And here are the way the women stack up right now in their greatest championship. Kim, who is not on the green over the 10th hole, leading by 1.
And you can see Lang and Gulbis at +5 with the chance, if they finish strong, who knows, maybe get in a playoff.
See Lori Kane sitting in the clubhouse at +6. That's not such a bad place to be either.
Yeah, it's possible.
Only 2 rounds under par. You mentioned Kane had a 69, and Gulbis the round going now at 1 under. And there's Annika at that +10 mark.
And we talked about Annika, or I did, not hitting it that well. She just hit 5 out of 16 greens, so it's a bit of a struggle.
Bit of struggle for Wee over at the 10th. Now her 3rd to this par 4.
Sprayed another drive off to the right, had no shot but to chip out. Now has 92 yards to this hole, located in the back left of the green.
Easy hole location.
Indeed, everything feeds right down there, John.
Beautiful swing, huh, Jane?
Oh, that was hit beautifully.
Got to get up.
To 9.
Karen Stupple's 3rd. Ooh, boy, listen to the sound of that. So hard to get the club through that wiry grass.
You almost got to try to hit it like 12 feet past, Gary.
That's the visual you have to have, Johnny. You're right. And we move over to 17. Natalie Gulbis has laid up. Johnny got it in the center of the fairway, but boy, I'm amazed she laid up this far down.
Well, she's in a great spot. If she could finish 4-4, maybe have what, 30-40% chance to get in a playoff, Gary.
Yeah, I would agree with that, John. She could post 4 over par. That would be awfully good.
I'll tell you, 5 over is not out of the questions either. It's only 3 players ahead of her.
Quickly to 11.
This is the 3rd for young Joe at the par 5. +3 round going for her, +5 for the championship, and that one gets away for the 21-year-old rookie out of South Korea. 20 players from Korea began this championship. 17.
Gulbis is third. Hole cut just about 20 feet over the water.
Well, it's a delicate shot. And you got the nerves going, Gary.
You got to look for this to be past the hole. Yep, pretty much what you'd expect. And that leaves that tough putt to Reed coming down the hill. Over at the 9th, Morgan Pressel, uphill birdie putt. This one's tough to get to the hole. Line's good if it's firm enough.
She hasn't left too many short today, but you were right, Gary.
To the 10th.
Third for Birdie Kim at the par 4 from this bunker.
This sand in these bunkers has got a beautiful brownish sort of southwest flavor to it.
Well, it's fairly easy to spin the ball out of these bunkers, and they really won't plug.
Kim will have that to stay in the lead by 1 as we go back to 9. Good crowds here, Gary, all week. A record they counted, the USGA announcing yesterday. And 30,000.
Yeah, I expected to be over 30,000 today. I was speaking with Betsy Hamilton, and tournament director. She was saying that they were looking for more than 30,000, a new single-day record. As we look at Karen Stuffles with her putt for par.
Well, obviously uphill, and breaking right. This putt, the lie she had by the edge of the green here was just dreadful.
Oh, just runs out of speed. So Stuffles will record her 4th bogey in her last 5 holes. She drops to 5 over for the championship.
They love their golf here in the Denver, Colorado area. And at Cherry Hills, it's been a great history. Select few there to host all 3 USGA Opens. Wingfoot and Hazeltine, Minnesota, the only other 2 to match Cherry Hills.
And down at the 9th green, Morgan Pressel for par. And it really has been this club, even though she struggled a little bit with her speed today, Roger, that has kept her in this thing. She's 2nd in the field in the putting stats.
And she missed one about this length, though, in the 3rd.
Okay.
I just got in the edge.
Safely in. So she remains at 3 over par, 1 off the lead. We go to 17 in the birdie putt for Natalie Gulbis.
Straight in, Gary.
That's the one that most players feel like it should move to the right, and it just won't do it.
Good speed, though.
Yeah. Gulbis has yet to win on the LPGA Tour. This would be some story if this were her first victory. As we go to 10.
For her par, Birdie Kim to stay in the lead by 1.
Yeah, it's a misread because it looks like it's going to break left, but the fall of the land going down to the creek is to the right. The creek is on this direction over here. And so any green that breaks from front to back is very hard to figure.
So another drop shot here by the leader. And again, that moves everybody playing ahead a little bit closer. Gulbis at +5. And now Kim is tied with Pressel, who has made the turn. Just behind her. What's going to happen at storied Cherry Hills Country Club today? 60th U.S. Women's Open. Tied at the top at the moment. This was a moment ago. 18-year-old Paula Creamer, who had those doubles at 1 and 5 to fade quickly. Then another bogey at 9 out and 40, but then a birdie there at 11, and there's hope at +6. Just trying to psych that putter up.
Yeah, there's some birdie holes on the back 9, so you know anything can happen right now. But what a big tee shot for Natalie Gulbis.
Well, not only a big tee shot, but her dad said this was a big year for her. He kind of issued a, okay, Natalie, let's wake up at the beginning of the year, and said, what would you like to do? Are you content being a top 40 player, or are you going to do something to get in that top 10?
Teeing up real high here with the driver.
Well, she had her best finish in a major at the LPGA Championship earlier this month.
They like it.
Having a terrific year.
Natalie learned the game from her father, John Dottie, a retired juvenile probation officer, a character in his own right, who has literally been shadowing Natalie's career, very much involved involved in it. She has a reality series
That'd be a pretty
coming up at a Golf Channel.
Pretty good way to kick off the reality show with the win at the Women's Open.
That's right. 17, Gary.
Yes, a moment ago, Annika Sorenstam going for the green in 2 at the par 5.
Didn't sound like she struck it too well.
No, looks like it's leaking right. She's yelling 4. She better hope it gets to the gallery. So that will kind of sink any chance that Annika might have had.
What a great year she's had, though.
Oh,
I mean, just
incredible play.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Just dominated.
No one's won the first 3 legs of the women's modern Grand Slam. That's what Annika is shooting at. And then, of course, ultimately the 4 for 4. And Ochoa right there at +7 is with Kay Cockrell.
Thank you, Dan. Lorena, you made the turn, 4 birdies, got yourself in position at +3 for the championship on the 18th tee. What went wrong with that tee shot?
I think just probably the club selection. I hit a 3-wood and was, under a lot of pressure, and I'm just trying to make an easy swing. I get too quick with my hands and make a hook to the water.
You'd been hitting your 3-wood really well and your driver all day. Did you just get a little ahead of yourself, maybe?
Well, I think it was downwind. The fairways are getting harder, and yesterday we hit a 3-wood and was really close to go down to the water. And just like you said, I was hitting it good, so we didn't, hesitate. Just grab the 3-wood and trying to make a good swing. But at the same time, I knew I needed to hit an easy one. If there will be too much going, downwind, just make an easy swing, and my hands, got me.
Johnny Miller said if you could par 18, you'd have a 75% chance, he felt, of your winning the championship. How devastating this is for you?
Well, I think it's hard to realize right now. I just give it away. The tournament, I fought so hard for 71 holes and just the last one. I have nothing to say. I feel really, sad, and it's the way golf is.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. You're a champ.
Thank you.
Dan?
Lorena Ochoa, one of the most sincere, well-liked players on tour. It was tough to watch.
Well, especially after last week, birdieing 6 out of the last 7 holes, and or
5 out of 7.
5 out of 7. That was
Pressel from the edge of that rough at the 10th.
Trying to chase this ball in there. This needs to stop.
Well, she made the proper play, though, don't you, Roger?
I think it was a very creative play, being right on the edge of the intermediate and primary rough, but still got through the green.
Yep, it's on the upslope there, and the ball seems to be sitting up, so not too bad.
pretty good rule of thumb, though, when you do not want to go over greens in any tournament, and especially in an open with tough rough normally. But this green does not have, as I said earlier, does not have the back to front tilt, so it's not a bad spot.
We'll keep it here for Stupples, Raj.
Only 95 yards left to the hole. This is one she's got to attack right here. Land the ball short of the hole and right of the hole. Let it bounce. Let it take the slope to the hole.
Nice drive on Roger.
Oh, yeah, this one was pounded.
Stupples reeling with 4 bogeys in the last 5 holes, which closed out her opening 9.
She's got to be thinking green lighter here. Her caddy Bobby Inman lined her up just right of the hole, I would imagine.
This one needs to get down a little bit, I think.
Is that just adrenaline, Roger? Look at those balls right next to each other. Just, there's no call for that to be going over the green with a green lighter there from that distance. That's just adrenaline, I guess.
Stupples just 3 of 10 in greens in regulation, and this is Brittany Lang, the 19-year-old All-American out of Duke, second at the par 3 15th, +5.
She's a player. She is a real player.
She went on to make that putt.
And she's in great shape to win this championship.
She's got 3 holes left and is at +5. Lang was a part of the 4-way tie for the lead after the opening round on Thursday with a 69. Another reminder, the Pepsi 400 live from Daytona comes your way next Saturday night in prime time at 7 o'clock Eastern.
The players are so good nowadays, Dottie. Only one time in the last 20 Women's Open has an over par score won after 72 holes. That was in 1998 Sari Pak, if you remember, against Jenny Shishirporn. She won with 6 over par, and we're going to have a similar thing here with this difficult golf course and tough rough.
Over at 17, Annika Sorenstam's 4th. After she hit the ball in the water, took her drop.
Had virtually no chance from there, did she,
No,
Gary?
not at all. Not at all. At 18.
A moment ago, this was Karini Shea. She was a part of that 4-way tie for the lead after Thursday.
Delicate downhill slicer.
Ishii with a solid round going today, and that is a bogey, and it's going to be a +7. Posting for Ishii. And over at the 10th, those balls right next to each other, Roger. Stupples and Pressel.
They are, and first to play will be Pressel.
Not too bad, is it, Roger?
It's not terrible, John. Has a decent lie.
No, enough green to stop it without hitting it short of the green, right?
I believe they could land it on the green and get it near the hole, yeah.
She doesn't seem to have a soft little wedge shot that I've seen yet. It's more of a standard little 1-2 swing. 1-2 like that. There's no open up lob shot or play it forward with the hands back and flip it up in the air. Just sort of a standard shot that Annika played all those years. Really wasn't too creative, but Annika's learned a lot of new shots. But this is well forward with a face open.
Well, Morgan does have this shot, Johnny. I went down and watched her in February, and she was spending a great deal of time working on that.
I just haven't seen it yet this week. That's all.
Oh, I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I haven't seen it. You've seen it. I haven't.
Over at 11, the par 5, third shot for Birdie Kim.
Easiest hole on the golf course right here. Hits a downslope and will chase right on the green. That's a good one.
Drove it in the left rough, so giving herself a chance for birdie.
That'd be quite an up and in.
Has. And back to Stupples at the 10th, Raj.
Virtually the same shot.
Don't want
Actually, the lie's not quite as good.
See how she's soling it real deeply in the grass? You shouldn't do that. But she muscles it out.
And over to 18, Gulbis at +5.
Hardest shot on the golf course right here to hit the green. She's asking for it to go.
Oh, it skids into the bunker, which at times is a lot better than that rough. I think it went into the bunker.
Yeah, it's a shame she blocked that.
Well, it's not a hard shot. She can do this deal.
Most difficult holes in the Women's Open this since '99. Number 18 right at the top of the list. And back over at 17.
And the lengthy par putt for Annika Sorenstam. Across the green, moving to her right. So she will drop another shot to +11 for the championship, which is 5 over par in her final round. As we go back to 10.
Morgan Pressel, _1 ranked junior, #1 ranked female amateur in the country. On a winning streak of sorts here too. Won 4 of her last 5 AJGA events.
She's got a summer full of those still on her plate.
And how about that for par?
One thing she won't ever do is quit.
That was a heck of an up and in, Roger.
I think that was really big, Jenny, certainly for her confidence.
Yeah, loosened her right up. She wants to have fun. She's fiery, but she likes to have fun too.
Yep. Morgan cried after a double bogey in the 8th hole early in the first round of this championship. And I get a feeling we'll see tears win or lose today from her. That's the kind of player she is at 12.
That is the uphill birdie putt for young Joe. Trying to get it to 4 over par.
Pretty good tournament for this rookie, don't you think, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. He just made 5 cuts so far this year on the LPGA Tour. 1 top 10 finish. As we move to 16, where 19-year-old Brittany Lang has this second shot from the center of the fairway.
Well, not going to be an amateur much longer. She will turn pro and enter the qualifying school. Had a terrific NCAA championship where she finished tied for 3rd individually, and of course the Duke women won the event.
And she certainly still has a chance.
Oh, she's got a great chance.
She knows how to win. Has won 6 times collegiately, 3 in her freshman year, 3 in her sophomore year.
#1 in greens and regulation.
Beautiful golf swing.
She's one of the few players in this field that hits a high fade, Gary.
Yeah.
And that's usually in a U.S. Open. What does that equate to?
Good things. She'll have a quick downhill putt from there. Back to 10.
Can Stupples save her par? Like Pressel, yes. Stupples remains at +5. 2 back. And this is a birdie try for Birdie Kim.
Well, this was an impressive shot from 221 yards with a 5-wood to this point. It's about 8 or 9 feet uphill. Should swing a little bit from right to left. The creek is to her left. This would be a heck of a birdie.
Well, especially considering she played all year on tour last year and only made 62 birdies.
Well, birdie's the word of the day right now, as in Kim. Beautiful to get to +2. Now Gulbis coming out of the bunker at 18 with her 3rd.
Most important bunker shot of her life. Played that out to the right for the big break, but did not hit it hard enough. But it is creeping down the hill.
Yes, it is. And she's got a chance to post +5. Right now, Lori Kane is the leader in the clubhouse at +6. Gulbis could change that in just a few moments from now with a clutch par save from the bunker at 18. Birdie Kim is the leader with her latest birdie. Back after this. You see Gulbis there at +5 as she looks over this par putt at 18, 8th on the money list. And I guess you could see a good performance like this coming, Dottie. 5 top 10s already this year, most she's ever had, and already with nearly $400,000 won, already a career high in earnings.
Well, she says she's ready to win. This would certainly be one big time win.
+5 would look a lot better than +6, that's for sure.
This is a right to left putt. Got to have perfect line and speed. Couple 3 inches outside of right. She hit a terrific putt exactly where she wanted and just misread it. That was a really good putt. It looked like it would have break more than that. That's a shame when you hit it that perfectly, Dottie.
Well, she did hit a very, very good putt.
So one of the tour's most popular players with a final round 71 +6, tying Kane for the lead in the clubhouse as we go back to the par 3 12th.
And today the hole measuring 183 yards, hole cut in the back right portion of the green.
And Gary, the wind has started to pick up here all of a sudden from behind the players and a little bit right to left as well. She's got 164 to the front. I believe with the altitude she can get a 7-iron to the front. It should skip on.
This green very firm. You certainly don't want to carry it all the way back to the hole.
It's a pretty good looking swing, Gary.
Yeah, that rhythm was beautiful, John. And she lands it in a good spot. That should stay. In fact, that should come back a little bit. Yeah.
Hard to believe that swing only made $10,000 last year, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, she's doing a little better this year. Has made $69,000. Already has a top 10 finish, so she's getting better. Michelle Wie next to play, and finally a birdie for Michelle Wie back at the par 5 11th, so she's at +8.
First birdie in 17 holes for her, Gary. That's amazing.
She 2-putted just from the front of the green, had a downhill 5-footer for birdie, and raised her arms in joy. Been very frustrated today. This no more than an 8-iron for Michelle.
That should be good. That should be good. That'll come back a little as well. So both Wie and Kim will have nice putts at birdie. We go to the 16th. Brittany Lang. Trying to roll it over this slope and then down to the hole. Should be picking up speed.
Tough putt, huh, Gary?
Yeah, it is, John. Very difficult.
Tough spot to. That's a pretty straight putt coming back, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Not much break from there. Up at 18.
Rosie Jones coming home here. Has said, excuse me, Johnny, that this is going to be her final season, but I couldn't help but read in her diary in the local newspaper today that she left the opportunity open to maybe playing a couple of majors next year.
Did one of those Jack Nicklaus back paddles?
Yeah, it's tough to leave the game, Daddy, when you're playing as well as Rosie has been playing. And now Stupples going for it, Roger, at the par 5 11th.
Well, she's got a wood out, 264 yards to the hole, and the wind has really picked up in the last 10 minutes.
Well, she looks that over. We go back over to the tough finishing hole, and Annika.
Left herself a long second shot, huh, Dottie?
Well, I can't help but think that choices off these tees have really been a very, very overly conservative play for her this week. She's left herself way back on a bunch of holes and then hasn't driven it in the fairway very often.
Only hit 5 greens in regulation today. Can you believe that, Annika Sorenstam?
Got to put it in the fairway first.
I mean, that's shocking right there.
Look at the few players going for first 3 majors of the year and how they fared in that third attempt. Remember Arnold Palmer won the 1960 U.S. Open to make it 2 in a row.
Not sure what she was celebrating with her caddy there, but it's been a great year, no doubt about that.
All right, this was Stupples' second at a par 5 11th a moment ago.
Be right, baby. Get on back in there.
Well, Bobby certainly likes it.
Takes a hop, and it's in pretty good shape right there on the short fringe. Might be a birdie for Stupples. She needs one. She's at +5. Birdie Kim from South Korea. Young Joe also up there from South Korea. Moreno Ochoa from Mexico fell back to +7 with a tough 18th today.
And welcome back. We're at the par 3 12th. Birdie Kim, downhill birdie putt, chance to increase the lead.
Break right to left early and then flatten out at the hole.
Quite a bit of speed, too. Trickles on by. Back at 11.
At the par 5, third for Morgan Pressel, 1 behind Birdie Kim. She's birdied this hole in every round thus far.
Sit. Sit.
She's going to have another chance here.
It's not a hard putt, just a little left to righter.
16.
This just a moment ago, Dan. Brittany Lang for par. And pretty much straight up the hill, right into the heart of the hole. Confident stroke for the 19-year-old amateur.
How about a couple of amateurs up there, Gary? Only one amateur has ever won this championship. Catherine Lacoste back in 1967, and Annika Sorenstam making her way up to the 18th green just a moment ago. Plotting herself, she had a lot of plotting the fans, I should say. She had a lot of support here this week as she went for the third leg of this Grand Slam. It's going to come up short, but not too many players get themselves in that position.
This just a moment ago at 12. Michelle Wie for par. And it is just one of those days, Johnny.
It is. It's just a shocker for her.
Yep, and now live Birdie Kim.
And Gary, tough to putt after you've seen a playing partner miss one from a very similar spot.
Got to keep the speed up. Ball will turn to the left. Okay, nicely done.
Gotcha.
She will walk off the par 3, still 1 shot ahead. We'll go back to 11.
Third for Stupples, Roger.
And chipping from just off the shortest fringe. Uphill this about 35 feet. Not much break here.
Quite a bit of loft for this shot, Roger.
It is. I would think she'd want to get it on the ground early and just get it to roll, John.
It's like a wedge.
She did have it back pretty far in her stance, but
that's what a wedge will give you if you don't watch out. You decel a little on Roger, and with that wedge, it's not going to climb up that hill.
Yeah, I agree with the big problems with the club selection there. I just don't know why she would use a wedge. There was no need.
Well, if she doesn't birdie this hole, that's just a giveaway of a shot.
Over at 13, Young Joe for par is to remain at +5. Another one of those players from South Korea in the championship hunt here. Rookie on the LPGA Tour, earned her card by finishing tied for second at Q School. It was her first attempt at the school. And now we're at 11 as Morgan Pressel has a birdie chance.
Well, this putt from just inside 15 feet downhill and breaking right, and everything's got to do with the speed here, Johnny. I mean, if this will break pretty hard if she hits it a little too easy.
Well, when you're 17 years old, your eyes get big with this length birdie putt. breaks. Just like you said, Roger. Part of you wants to hit it good and firm, huh, Roger? But the other part of you says, just cozy it up there.
13T, 384-yard par 4. The leader, Birdie Kim, at +2.
And wind helping and from the player's right.
She hits the fairway. This is really a birdie hole at the front right hole location.
Well, she just made a birdie hole into what could be potentially a pretty difficult par or worse.
Well, she's got to cross the creek, and the bottom line is that's a huge error. Of all the fairways to miss, besides 18, this is another one of the fairways you do not want to miss. It's like 16. You got to cross the creek.
And over at the par 5 11th, Stupples for a birdie.
Well, this putt doesn't do much from here. It's uphill, slow, putt to be aggressive with, and she's really pretty much got to have it. She can't let this opportunity get away.
I think of the players that are in contention right now, this might be the least rattled. She's done this.
Ouch, Roger.
That's giving one away there, John.
So it'll be a par 5 for Stupples. She remains at +5, 3 behind Kim. Stupples, who maintains a couple of residences in Orlando and over in England, turned 32 on Friday. This is 45-year-old Rosie Jones for bogey at the finishing hole.
She can putt, huh?
75 for Rosie, +10 for the championship. And Sorenstam, this is rare territory for Sorenstam, this far behind in any kind of tournament. Last time she finished out of the top 20, she missed the cut at the Women's British Open in 02. That was nearly 3 years ago. So Sorenstam coming up short, and once again thanking the crowd for all their support. A tie for 26th right now, Sorenstam. Again, a rare position for her.
Yeah, the last 3 U.S. Open, she's finished 2nd, 4th, and 2nd. So she could have won all 3 of those, by the way, if she would have putted just pretty good. She's really struggled with her putting the last 4 Opens.
This was a moment ago at 11. Pressel for par. Slips it in. Remains at +3, closest to the leader, Birdie Kim. Next Saturday, it's AVP volleyball coming back to NBC at the Cincinnati Open. In action, the Golden Girls of Athens. Remember Misty May and Carrie Walsh? They'll be out there. Cincinnati Open, part of the AVP Nissan Series, next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Pacific. So as you look at the board with Kim leading Pressel by a shot, we head out to the 12th.
And again, the par 3, 183 yards today with the hole cut in the back right portion of the green. Just 5 birdies recorded here all day.
Water's not in play at all, right, Gary?
No, it really isn't, Johnny. I mean, you'd have to mishit a shot completely to really bring that into play. And you've got a bank in front of the green that's about 5 feet high. That the rough is really long. So even if you were to mishit it slightly and carry it short of the green, it would not come back in the water.
Green has definitely started to firm up, though, hasn't it, Gary?
Yes, oh yeah, it's very firm. You don't want to carry it much past the front of the green.
What a big shot this is, Gary, right now with the Cross Creek down there. You can see Jane, that Cross Creek there. What's she going to do?
Well, she has no prayer but to lay up. This lie is one of the worst I've seen. It's settled right down in this really thick primary rough.
With that front hole location, he wants to lay it back a little so she can spin a wedge. You don't want to get down too close. And that's maybe closer than she should have hit it, but I'm not sure from here.
So the obligatory chop out for Kim. And we go back to 12.
And Morgan Pressel on the tee, Roger.
She is. And these girls have to start hitting some greens. Both of the players only hit forward around the first 11 greens, so gotta get some better iron play going. It's a 5-iron here.
Vegan.
She likes
Sit.
it. That's got to sit. That green is very firm.
Oh my gosh.
That was too much club, wasn't it, Gary?
Yeah, I think so, John. I mean, if you really have to play to the front yardage, you're just past the front yardage. You can't carry that ball all the way to the hole.
Pressel a little pumped.
Well,
the hole's now playing downwind, and as you can see, the green is really firm. You can start to see some of that brownish hue to it, John.
Yeah.
We see so often in major championships.
Well, Morgan Pressel's caddy, Sam Hinshaw, that's her job to, you know, sort of feel the adrenaline and try to give her the right club. And that's a couple 10 in this hole, 12 that she has misclubbed her.
All right, Stupples now with a 7-iron, Roger.
Well, this hole can't be playing much more if you factor everything into it. Much more than about 155 or 60 yards.
Is that right?
This ball is right. It's not hooking as much as she'd like.
Might get a bounce. Nope, doesn't do it. Primary rough swallows it up.
Short-sighted miss. Big mistake.
Nothing comes easy, does it, on the U.S. Open that last day, Gary?
No, certainly doesn't, John. And when you get a little aggressive, if you don't pull it off, it can really be a problem. Well, the struggle continues at the 60th U.S. Women's Open. We'll be right back. Just a moment ago at the 17th, Brittany Lang, third shot here at the par 5. Hole cut just 20 feet over the water. Oh, wow! Carried it by about 2 feet.
Boy, does that take some guts.
Yes, it does.
Wow, what a shot.
Over 13.
Third shot for the leader to the par 4.
Oh, terrific motion with that shot.
Leaves yourself a nice little putt there. Not too hard to make from there.
And back to 17.
Brittany Lang with Johnny, I guess you'd have to call one of the biggest putts she's ever had.
That was one of the best shots you'll ever see, folks. I'm telling you, for her to be able to dial down with all that adrenaline, she knows, I'm sure, that if she can make birdie here in par 18, she's got a great chance to win this championship. So we'll see if she can make that great stroke she did on the last hole on the short one, Gary. It was just perfect tempo.
The second round, the only round where she struggled at all on the greens, we saw her pull a couple of short putts, Johnny.
Got that Payne Stewart putter.
Hands back. Not that one. Confidently stroked, so Brittany Lang goes to the 18th tee at +4 for the championship.
Man.
We'll move over to the 12th. Morgan Pressel second from behind the green.
Delicate little chip here, green running away from her.
That's a little better than we saw back there at the 10th hole.
It was a perfect chunk lie. He just chunked it out and let it run down.
Let's join Kay Cockrell.
Thank you very much, Annika. This week is in the books. You came up a little short on your bid to get that third Grand Slam, but what has this whole experience, this whole week been like for you?
Well, I've actually had a good time. Obviously, I'm very disappointed about my results and kind of the way it ended, but you know, the crowd has been spectacular this week. I mean, I thought the golf course was a lot of fun to play. It's a great challenge, so, you know, put my golf aside, it's been a great week.
Well, you struggled a bit today. We're seeing a lot of the leaders struggling. Why is this golf course playing so tough today?
Well, me personally, I mean, my game plan was to be a little bit more aggressive. I started with hitting a few more drivers, and it just put me in a lot of trouble. And after that, I just couldn't recover. So it's just a hard day for me.
Is there anything that you would have done differently at the beginning of the week or even last week as you prepared for this week?
At the moment, not really. I thought I came into this week as prepared as I could be. I thought I was as focused as I could be. I felt really good about this week. It's just one of those weeks. I did not feel the momentum. I didn't have any flow. Hit a few bad shots, and it just could never recover. And I definitely didn't make enough birdies to have a chance.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Dan, back up to you.
Thank you, Kay. So Annika's quest toward history is going to come up short, but you know she'll gather herself for the ladies' final major of the year, the Women's British Open.
She will play next week in the match play, and then she's going to head over to Europe with a couple of weeks to prepare for the Evian Masters and also the British.
Out to the 12th.
Morgan Pressel has this putt left for par. Her playing competitor, Karen Stupples, was unable to get the ball up and down from the rough on the right-hand side of the green, so she drops to 6 over.
Putt's got a little break to the left in it.
Well, firmly stroked right into the back of the hole. Morgan Pressel remains at 3 over for the championship and 1 off the lead.
She's got a little of that strut back Roger was talking about.
Spring.
Well, this is kind of an eerie feeling that is reminiscent of 7 years ago. Remember the other Duke amateur, Jenny Shasiraporn, who sank that long putt on the 72nd hole to get into a playoff with Sairi Pak in the tough conditions again here, Dottie and Johnny. Sairi winning that championship over Jenny at +6 is what they posted before the 18-hole playoff. But here is Brittany Lang, maybe the forgotten amateur with all this hubbub of between Michelle Wie and Morgan Pressel. And again, the best amateur finishes. Catherine Lacoste, the only amateur to win it, and that was back in 1967. And if Lang is able to hang on, she would be the youngest Women's Open champion in history.
We can't help but think that her preparation this year was aided by the fact that she did play Kraft Nabisco, narrower sort of fairways, very, very thick rough, firm greens, and then she did play in Corning on a sponsor exemption last month, tied for 15th, 4 rounds under par in a row. Got some playing time.
While she waits, par 13 for Birdie Kim.
Well, you couldn't ask to be in a better position to make this putt. Uphill, a little bit of right to left, about 10 feet.
We'll see how her nerves are at this stage in the championship. Made the great birdie a couple holes ago.
Birdie Kim trying to become just the 17th player to make the Women's Open their first win. And Lang has been waiting quite a while before sending this ball over the water here.
Are you surprised she's going with like a rescue club, Dottie?
Well, Johnny, she is pretty long. Fairways are firming up. Anything in the right half of this fairway will find its way down, and yesterday were a couple of shots that went through the fairway into the hazard.
She's the best player in the field right now. She's hit the most greens in regulation. She's already hit 11 today. She's one of the few leaders that averages over 260 yards off the tee. And right now, the best player that's playing the best this week is got a chance to win this thing with a par here.
Best number posted so far, +6. How will Brittany Lang handle the pressure of their most prized championship?
Jenny! You gotta be kidding me!
Well, is there more Dookie magic here at Cherry Hills after Jenny Shasiraporn sank that unlikely putt on the 72nd hole to get into a playoff with Sairi Pak, who right now is the youngest to ever win this championship. But if Brittany Lang can get it done, she would take over that spot. 19-year-old All-American out of Duke. And over at 14, the leader a moment ago.
Cut across it.
She was lined up right for starters.
And we're being told that it is inbounds by a foot. And Birdie Kim is waiting back on the tee to get official word of her own. And now she's heading down.
Well, she pulled it on the last hole and pushed it there, and she's not sure if it's in bounds here. She's waiting.
It is in bounds by 9.75 inches.
That was pretty exact, Kay. Or Jane.
Look at this.
Yeah,
she's
she
so
will have the
so
fence
happy.
impinging her backswing.
And with a little luck, she might do a Seve Ballesteros. So it might be over there where people have been walking. I don't know what the lie is like. You're right there, Jane. Is it in heavy grass or tromped down grass?
Well, let's go to 13. And this is Stupples and her second Roger to the par 4.
This from 133. Shot that plays downhill and downwind slightly today.
It's a little more like those shots we saw from her yesterday when she made 6 in a row in this area of the golf course. 6 birdies.
But 6 bogeys for Stupples so far today, +5 on her round, +6, 4 behind. Birdie Kim, who's just in bounds over at 14. And we'll keep it right here for Pressel, who's just 1 behind. Looking at her lie, Roger.
Well, it's just off the edge of the fairway, just up by the primary rough cut, but it shouldn't be too bad. It might have a little difficulty getting the ball to spin, however. This is about the last place you can look for a birdie. Finish from here on out, it's pretty stout.
Yeah, this one in 17, but this is a birdie opportunity, even from this lie with a square groove wedge.
Vegan.
Just needs to get up a little. It's the top of the bunker, comes back in.
I thought that was right on it.
Not sure that was the right club again.
Over at 15, moment ago, tee shot, Paula Creamer at +6. 4 holes left for her to try to make a move here.
Tough hole location, front right. And that is a good shot, but just barely misses out. A little bit like Pinehurst last week.
Creamer
false front.
Creamer's settled down since the tough start. And Brittany Lang at +4, waiting for the 18th green to clear before she comes up the hill. The biggest shot of her career so far. This was Morgan Pressel a moment ago at 13, 3rd.
Certainly a better leave here than in the thick rough in front.
Good shot.
Very nice shot.
Chance to save par, remain at +3, be within 1 of the leader Birdie Kim, and there's that boundary fence that Birdie Kim is right up against. And David Fay, as we bring you in, no relief here.
No relief. It's not considered an obstruction under the rules. It's Johnny called it a tough luck fence.
Yeah, that's what it is when you get a boundary fence. No relief.
Just don't hit it there.
This is a shot you just don't want to get greedy on, because she could nick the fence coming down and whiff it. She's trying to get pretty close to that fence. You want to at least stay 6 inches away from it on your backswing and downswing.
Huge amount of thick rough between.
You see this move, the way she's trying to do that?
Huge amount of thick rough between there and the fairway. This is no bargain. Really, really good shot.
It was actually a pretty cool little swing. She takes it back way inside. See how she cocks her wrist to the inside and then comes and hoods it at the bottom to play a little trapping sort of punch draw.
Huge shot for Brittany Lang coming up the hill here at 18.
And she had to wait. It's almost like having a timeout called before you shoot a key winning free throw.
Iced at the Open.
She's certainly seen a few of those as a part of the Cameron Crazies.
You can see she's trying to reline her feet there. Like I said, did she block it right? Same shot that Gulbis hit. Yep. Almost identical shot. That's what happens under pressure, is you just don't release your putter. You don't release your right side on the full swings. You lock up, leave the face open. That's a shame. Another great opportunity. Both Gulbis, Lang both hit great drives. It's in the bunker.
First Women's Open for Brittany Lang. And now Pressel for par over at 13. Bunker save. How close was that? Pressel's first bogey since that string of 3 in a row in the middle of the front 9. Falls to +4. This a moment ago. Creamer at 15.
Not much break.
Hit it short. Hit the second to there and saves it. So Creamer, with 3 holes left, 4 behind. And back over at 14, Birdie Kim, 3rd upcoming, Jane.
Well, she now has 136 yards downhill with a little bit of wind helping her. That was an incredible shot, guys. I didn't think she could move it more than about 20-30 yards, and now she's on the left side of the fairway with a perfect look down at this hole.
It's the most beautiful spot on the golf course right here. Just a magnificent approach shot, probably in the top 20 coolest second shots in all of golf as far as just look. It's just gorgeous down there, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful out here, and I talked to her caddy Miles as she was coming up, and he said, you know, she's a special player. Her coach is Bob Toski, and Bob is very impressed with this young lady. She just seems very cool, calm, and collected, like no big deal. Another golf tournament.
Well, as the old saying, looks can be deceiving, but so far so good. But probably going to make bogey here, so it's only been a one-shot difference between Lang and Pressel if she bogeys here.
This looks like a pitching wedge. As I said, downhill, slightly downwind.
There is creek left, not that she would hit one that far left. Looking out to the right. Looking about 20 feet right of the hole.
Lead in a moment might be +3, and here is Brittany Lang from that bunker that Gulbis was in. Gulbis nearly saved the par.
Beautiful, nice, clean lie. Sideboards to the right, breaks left. Sounds good.
Pops it up.
Sounds real good.
Looks great. Player never been in that position before. That is hugely well done.
I'll say just leaves herself maybe a right edge putt, a very easy putt.
Lang that far away from posting +4, and the lead in the clubhouse. She was 7 shots back after she bogeyed the 6th hole to fall to +8. Now just 2 behind, and Kim has a long par putt at 14, remember.
Boy, won the ACC last couple of years, and she's a heck of a player, but she never had a putt like this in her life.
Here's another amateur in the hunt here. Morgan Pressel off the tee at a 433-yard par 4 14th.
Got to hit this fairway, Roger.
Yeah, really need to hit this fairway, John.
Sort of a semi-blind shot. You can just barely see the top of it.
This ball drawing back toward the right center of the fairway. This is good.
It's got a lot of chase in that shot, Roger. Must have gotten 40 yards a roll.
To 17.
Candy Kung's third here at the par 5. She's at +6. Back at the 15th hole, Young Joe made a bogey. So moves her to 6 over. And Candy Kung a long way from the hole for birdie at 17.
We go over to the 14th and a long par try for Birdie Kim. Talk about coming out of nowhere. This is just her 34th LPGA start. Has 1 top 10. Tied for 7th last month in Atlanta.
This is not a fast putt. It breaks left all the way. It's not the kind of putt you really can expect to make. Thing actually went up to the right, Dottie. That's a pretty strange little putt there, breaking towards the back.
Yeah, that was a misread on both our behalves.
Yeah, I would have never. That must be in a little tricky spot there because everything else breaks left on that green.
So the lead is going to drop to at least +3. Lang's at 18 at +4 with a makeable par putt.
Well, all in all, a 5 after the drive. It could have been out of bounds.
And there is Lang. 18, it seemed like eternity for Brittany Lang from McKinney, Texas. Look at those 2 A's on the board. Lang and Pressel both trying to become the youngest winner in the history of this championship. Pressel trying to become the youngest winner in the history of major championship golf. The teenagers have arrived.
Well, Brittany Lang said she put off turning professional because she needed a little more experience. I think this might do it.
Well, she's got a putt here that I'm not sure, just an inch or two. It could be dead straight, this putt here. And then again, it could be right edge. And it's hard to tell from the TV booth, but it's really close to being a straight in putt. Where her putter head is definitely straight. So she could overread this. I'll tell you, you just have no idea, folks, what it feels like to have a putt like this for possibly a win, and she knows it. It's just so hard to make a good stroke.
It's hard to keep the putter still. My hands used to get clammy.
Yeah.
And you just kind of had to get the shake quieted down so you could take it back.
We'll see if she can read it right and make a great par save out of the bunker.
Kim tapped in for bogey. The lead is +3.
Looking out to the right a little bit. That's a putt. It was dead straight, Dottie. It looks like it breaks left.
It may have snuck in with just a hair less speed, but
Same
still
putt.
pretty well solidly
Gulbis
struck.
hit a great putt just to the left of that, and she overread it also. So that read there is cost to Wannabe, so to speak, and not that she's out of it.
So the lead is Langs +5.
Great round.
In the clubhouse. Over to 14, Morgan Pressel.
That's from 168 yards.
Sets up great for her, doesn't it, Roger?
It does. She likes to play that draw, and she's got this one drawing just right of the hole. That is unlucky. That ball carries a yard, and it's a pretty good shot.
Well, it almost looks like she's misclubbed about the whole back 9, Roger.
17.
Lengthy birdie putt down the hill for Candy Kung. Aiming well left.
Candy's coming off a top 10 last week in Rochester, really starting to play better.
Oh, wow.
That's going to make it pretty tough.
Yeah. Too much break, too much speed. 3-time winner on the LPGA Tour, all of those coming in 2003. We go back to 14.
Where Stupples is next.
153 at the hole. This is in a place you got to attack the pin, John, from now on.
Yeah, especially on that great drive. As a look.
Hit this ball very, very high. It's a pretty good looking shot if it gets down.
Does not.
These players have literally almost missed club every single hole in the back 9, the two of them.
Stupples staring down. I don't think she's going to like what she sees in the deep rough. And at this par 3 15th, 183 yards, Birdie Kim, another bogey, slips to +3, still hanging on to the lead by 1.
Well, Dan, there's not much wind at all to speak of right now. Hole today located only 6 on and 5 from the right.
The best shot is about 15 feet left of the hole, hopefully hitting it hole high. It leaves yourself a straight putt. It calls for a high fade, but not many of the players this week hit high fades. Straight ball's good too, though. Hook is a tough shot.
As we mentioned, she's just trying to hit it in the middle of every green. Pretty smart play coming in from there.
There's that false front. Got another shot.
Just like Paula Creamer.
Persevering at Cherry Hills in the 60th U.S. Women's Open.
And while we were away, this was Candy Kung's par putt at 17. Back up the hill. And nicely done. So Kung still there, +6. She could somehow birdie 18. We go back to 14.
Just on the edge there. Morgan Pressel looking over this birdie try, Roger.
And it's a putt that's really kind of hard to read. It's almost over a bit of a crown, it looks like, putting from this angle. It shouldn't do much, but it may move a little right in the area of the cup.
Going through her usual putting routine, she says it keeps her shoulders in square and she can see the line better.
Just not getting it there.
Well, the line wasn't the problem, obviously.
Pressel turned 17 just a month ago. And over at 15, Birdie Kim came up short. Second to this par 3 now. Delicate little chip.
It certainly is the green surface, about 3 or 4 feet above where she is now.
She could putt this, right?
She could, but she's opting for a sand wedge. Looks like her lob wedge.
Just kind of brush that grass. Very smooth practice swings.
shot, but that'll test you from there for certain.
Let's go to 16.
This just a moment ago. Par putt for Paula Creamer coming down the hill. Drove it in the left rough, forced to lay up. And that one will not break enough. She would go on to make her bogey and drop to +7. Playing alongside Young Jo made a par. She remains at +6 and will join Kay Cockrell.
I'm here with Brittany Lang, who is the leader in the clubhouse right now in your very first U.S. Open. What can this possibly be like for you right now?
It's a great feeling. I hung tough out there and was patient. I didn't get off to the best of starts, but I finished real strong. It feels great.
How were you able to put this kind of week together, being that this is your first Open Championship?
I came out here just to have some fun, play some golf. It's a great golf course, and I had a lot of fun this week, and I think that's why I played so well.
What kind of past experiences did you draw upon as you were out there, particularly on the back nine today?
The Curtis Cup, definitely. There was a lot of big crowds out there, and then our national NCAA championship. Just getting used to all the fans. It was a lot of fun.
Can you describe what it was like in this final round of your first U.S. Open, and in particular what was going through your head on the back nine?
I didn't look at a scoreboard the whole day. I looked up and saw that my name was on the leaderboard. That's all I needed to know. So I knew I was somewhere back in it, but I didn't look at any numbers. And I think that helped me, and I played very solid coming in.
All right, congratulations, 19-year-old from McKinney, Texas. Let's go out to 14.
Pressel for par.
I can tell you, she studied the scoreboard all the way down to this green.
Yeah, in sharp contrast to Lang, Pressel is a scoreboard watcher and one to look at right now. 4 holes left for her, 1 back. For par now at 15, Birdie Kim.
And after a pretty nice little sand wedge chip to this point below the hole, about 4 feet.
Rock solid, Jane.
Birdie Kim, a part of that South Korean pipeline here to the United States. So many players. The one that comes to mind, obviously, Seri Pak, former champion in this event, Dottie, but they have come over in droves and they can play.
Very, very strong Korean amateur program, and that's turning out players in bunches.
Second year for Birdie Kim on the LPGA Tour. Won the Korean Junior Championship in the late 90s. Won a total of 19 amateur events in Korea after starting to play this game at the age of 11.
Well, I think the number right now is 4 over. +4 will probably win this championship without a playoff. That means Birdie Kim could play 1 over, but the thing is, you don't want to go into 18 needing a par, because as you've seen, you just don't make pars on 18. Everybody's made worse than par, just about what we've seen so far in this telecast. So Pressel needs to maybe somehow make a couple pars, birdie 17 and bogey 18, and she could win.
At 16 tee, Birdie Kim, awkward tee shot here. Fairway slopes severely from the players left to right. Hole dog legs that way.
It's a great hole, isn't it, Gary?
Yes, it is. Easy to miss the fairway left here.
Wind helping just a whisker from behind the players too, Gary. Just a fairway wood.
Watching it pretty anxiously.
And the right rough.
Up. And now Little Dry Creek will come into play. She'll have to make a decision as we go to 15.
And there is Morgan Pressel, 1 back of Kim.
4 iron here.
That's certainly plenty of club for her, Roger.
Well, this is just right of the flagstick.
That's been the pattern. Morgan Pressel yelling sit as the ball drifts back, but not bad, not in the thick rough. Lang is the leader in the clubhouse, 19-year-old amateur. Morgan Pressel, 1 better at the age of 17. Morgan Pressel, who will be a high school senior at the St. Andrews School in the fall in Florida from day 1 here at Cherry Hills, has had 1 goal in mind. A fearless 17-year-old who feels her time has come.
I don't see why I should be intimidated. I mean, I've played good golf up to here. You know, it's I've played well enough to play my way into the last group, and if I'm leading the tournament, then why not go ahead and try and win it? Why should I be intimidated by anything else?
Pressel exudes the confidence of a golfer who's been there before, and she has, as the youngest player to ever qualify in this championship 4 years ago at the age of 12. But after a first-round 77 at Pine Needles, the young Pressel showed the same emotions that make up her will to succeed today.
No, I didn't play too well. I didn't hit the ball well. And I just want to play well tomorrow.
She would go on to miss the cut in her first Open. 2 years later, at Pumpkin Ridge, she'd made it to the weekend before finishing 52nd. Now, after another 2 years, she would like to save those tears for a victory at a championship unparalleled in her sport.
It is the biggest tournament in women's golf, and to be on top of this event is at my age is a pretty big thing.
Morgan Pressel. Her uncle is Aaron Krickstein. Remember him, the former tennis star who at the age of 16 in 1983 upset Vitas Gerulaitis in the third round of the '83 U.S. Tennis Open. In fact, that was Morgan's first love, tennis, before she dove into this sport of golf. And the man that has been so inspirational to her, her grandfather, Herb Krickstein, who has been here all week long. He's the man that really got her going in the game. And now faced with this from behind, 15 with her second to the par 3.
Yeah, this is a chip shot from about 65 feet from the hole. And we'll move to her right in the area of the cup.
Not a lot of break around the hole here, Roger.
Easy.
Another one that went off in her hands, similar to what we saw early in the round.
Yeah, she had a save at 10 from over the green. Let's take a look at this technique, Dottie. You see anything there? Nothing there. Nothing.
Just a little too much of it.
Yeah, it looked perfect form. Kept the left hand going. No cup. Just a little bit too hard, like you said.
And while Morgan Pressel was hitting, this was Birdie Kim forced to lay up short of the creek. So she'll have a third shot of somewhere around 130 yards.
Well, the rough here has cost the players almost 3/4 of a shot.
I'll tell you, Brittany Lang is back in the clubhouse thinking, well, I should have birdie 18, but, well, maybe I don't need to make, par 18, but.
Second for Candy Kung here at 18. Remember, lead in the clubhouse, Lang's +5, so a birdie here to try to match it.
There's the best shot we've seen all day.
And Kung's going to have a chance.
By far the best shot we've seen.
That was high, too. That came down softly.
Kung, a part of last year's championship, tied for 5th.
And back at 16, Birdie Kim getting ready for her third.
109 yards to the front. Gary hole located today on 24 in the back left corner. She has a sideboard. She can bring it in from right to left.
Big swing with that short iron, long backswing, full follow through. Must have been trying to hit a hard wedge. It comes up well short. Brittany Lang signing some autographs.
Good round, Brittany.
I think that autograph might be worth something here very shortly, Gary.
Good chance of it as we go back to 15.
And Pressel for par.
Not a hard putt, pretty dead straight.
Clutch putt by Pressel.
Tough.
That's 2 of those. Knocked it in from off the green at 10 for par, and same thing here. Pretty gutsy, huh, Dottie? That's amazing.
She is terrific.
We've talked about it all week, Johnny, how Morgan Pressel reminds us a little bit of Dottie. I mean, you know how she's playing.
Yeah.
Just look at her face, look at her mannerisms.
Well, she's #1 in putting this week. Only 21 putts through 15 holes today, and she's just hit 5 greens in regulation.
Morgan Pressel on the threshold of major championship history.
At the 16th, lengthy par putt for the leader, Birdie Kim. Should be turning to her left as it gets near the hole. Well, not in yet. And back on the tee, Morgan Pressel.
Pretty narrow drive, Gary.
Kick right, please kick right.
Oh, she's asking for it to kick right, and she gets it. There it goes. So safely in the left side of the fairway. It will leave a lie where the ball will be well below her feet. But we go ahead to 18.
And here's Candy Kung to post +5. Time for the lead in the clubhouse.
That similar line that we've seen over red all day.
This one's not hit, though. It was
No.
red. But, gee, got to get it to the hole when you have a chance to get in a playoff for the U.S. Open.
Kung officially out of it. Lang's lead safe in the clubhouse. Only 3 birdies at 18 all week long. 73 for Kung. Parred every hole on the back 9. +6. And as Morgan Pressel makes her way up, her dad, Michael, is at a junior golf tournament in Florida with Morgan's younger sister, Madison Dottie. So well, the only 2 people here are her grandparents, so she's been staying with them all week here.
Well, she hasn't. She managed to get herself scolded yesterday morning. Her grandmother, Evelyn, found her at 7 a.m. hiding in the bathroom with the lights on and reading. She couldn't sleep. Said, Morgan, you have to go back to sleep.
Banished to the bathroom from her by her
A lot of
feisty
adrenaline.
grandmother.
You know, it's amazing to me because she says, hey, the money's not an issue. Obviously, she can't win any money. So she says, why should I worry about trying to finish 2nd or 3rd? I'm here to win this thing.
16 for bogey, Gary.
Well, that now drops her back to +4. So Morgan Pressel and Birdie Kim tied for the lead.
Well, the nice thing for Morgan, she likes to watch the leaderboards, so she's going to have a chance to play those last couple holes knowing exactly what she needs to do, and that's what she likes.
Well, she said she liked that pairing, especially being the last group, because she knew exactly what she had to do.
Yep, she's a type A type personality.
Might be A+, Johnny.
Yeah, yeah, A+ in school.
Did I get you? Okay.
Brittany Lang just signing away, hoping that the +5 holds up. We want to make a scoring correction. Actually, Candy Kung made a bogey at the 18th, hit it in the rough. And so that putt was for par at 18, so she is at +7 officially. And Kim and Pressel remain tied for the lead at +4. 17 we go.
Lengthy birdie putt for young Joe.
Fairly big swinger early in the putt, and then as we've mentioned before, it kind of flattens out around the hole.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of speed. It's got a lot of speed. We've seen a number of players race it by.
She had to give it a good run, though, huh, Gary?
Yeah, she did it. +6, John. Absolutely.
Has to feel like she has to make play 1 under the last 2 to.
And back on the tee at the par 5, 531 yards. Michelle Wie coming off a birdie at 16.
Talked to everybody I could talk to before the round, and everybody, every person said they wanted Michelle Wie to win. Nobody else, not even Annika.
Well, her time will come, I'm sure, but when you open with the 7 over par 42, that is going to make it tough. She is +10 for the day. All right, big tee shot now for Birdie Kim. She missed the fairway at 13, 14, and 16.
Yeah, 2 wipes to the right and one
hook.
hole. Yeah.
Yep.
And you don't want to hit in the right trees here, do you?
Or left. They're on both sides, and the rough is deep on both sides.
And the wind is coming from left to right.
Is this 3 metal?
Yeah, appears so. Thought I heard her caddy say, there you go. Yeah, nicely done, down the center of the fairway. And we move back to the 16th. Morgan Pressel getting ready for her second, Roger.
As you said, Gary, the ball well below her feet, also on a little bit of a downhill lie. 150 yards to the hole, wind helping. I would think she'd have to land as what, in the front third of the green?
I would agree. This green has firmed up considerably in the last hour or so.
It's a good hole location for a draw, Roger.
Well, she's working it at the center of the green.
See if it'll come left.
It should. It takes a little kick off that ridge. Underneath the hole, uphill birdie putt. So 17-year-old Morgan Pressel will have a birdie putt at the par 4 16th and a chance to take the lead when we come back. And while we were away, this was Young Jo putt for par at 17. Really to have any chance at all, has to make this. Okay, nicely done playing along with Young Jo. Paula Creamer recorded a triple bogey 8. Moves her to 10 over par. And we move back to the fairway. And an important layup shot here.
We want to carry that bunker. Right.
I'm not gonna go right.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
All right, you heard her caddy say what it is over the right-hand bunker, and she said, I'm not going to go to the right.
Sounds like she's trying to set herself up for a better
Angle.
location. Absolutely.
To the front right hole location.
Just can't hit it down there too far where you don't have a full swing in.
Dottie, she has a 185 to 100-yard layup.
Well, that seems like that would be a good number, Jane.
All right.
That's perfect. Needs to stop.
All right, that part of the job done. And we go back to 16. Where Morgan Pressel has a birdie putt, Roger, to take the outright lead.
Well, she has again taken a long look at the leaderboard here in front and left of the green, and it's almost as though she's trying to memorize it. She's there had it so long. She knows what's in the clubhouse. She knows 5 is the benchmark right now.
This is an easy putt, Roger.
Oh yeah, this is just a little slightly uphill and moving a little bit to her left. You're right, John. This is the kind of putt you would hope for in a situation like this.
I mean, you don't have to think about anything but making this, huh, Gary?
Yeah, I would agree. Don't have to worry about knocking it 3 or 4 feet by, that's for sure. Is it firm enough? Is it firm enough?
Oh, she knows that was a really, really big opportunity for her.
That slowed down fast, didn't it, Roger?
Yeah, it did. It almost rocked backwards.
I mean, that thing was going pretty good, and I just... Well played hole.
Yes, very well played. Oh, you can see she wanted this one. Get the reaction right about now. I've got it. I got it. Oh, no.
Morgan Pressel just off the mark with that one, but she's made a bunch here to stay in this championship all the way back at the second. Again, Pressel started the day, part of a 3-way tie for the lead. This was a birdie that would give her the lead in this championship at even par. And then Pressel here at the 7th. This coming after 3 straight bogeys, so that was a huge par save. And then at 10, another one you talked about, Johnny, this saving it at the par 4.
Nice.
And then at 14, another par save. This coming after a bogey at 13. And then at 15 to stay at +4. 22 putts now through the first 16 holes. 6 1-putt greens. And Morgan Pressel is in position.
Dan, she's had 2 straight days of this. She made a bunch of 7, 8, 9 footers yesterday. She said she really didn't want to leave herself in that sort of position, but boy, she sure has managed to deliver.
Well, she's had to deal with tougher things. In September of 2003, she lost her mother, Kathy, to breast cancer, and that probably puts things in perspective. That's a tough thing for a young teenager to have to go through, I would imagine.
Well, she's got such a great support group, though, at home with her grandmother and grandfather, and obviously her sister and her dad. Just a terrific family.
Her mother, very, very competitive. She told me last night that that's a lot where she gets her competitive edge. Her mom, the '78 Big Ten tennis champion, that's what Morgan wanted to play when she began searching through the various sports, and then kind of fell into golf thanks to the persuasion of her grandfather, Herb.
Got to hit this fairway, though. This hole gets tough in a hurry if you miss the fairway.
She's hit 10 of 12 so far, make it 11 of 13.
Got a little steam on it, doesn't it, Gary?
No hesitation in that swing. No guiding it, that's for sure. And we move up ahead. Birdie Kim getting ready for her third shot.
Gary, she has 81 yards to the front, 88 to the flag. Wind is helping a little bit, and from the left. Her gap wedge normally goes 85 yards, so she's got to be gripping down on this just ever so slightly to account for the altitude.
Yeah, altitude is 10%, so got to factor that in.
I think sometimes it's harder to control the wedges than it is the regular full shots with that 10%.
Yeah.
Takes away some of your feel.
Well, the wind is freshening a little bit out here, Dottie.
It's tough with it being downwind with the lake that close. That is a tough combination.
Very hard to get a good amount of spin on it when the wind's behind you.
Trying to bring it in from left to right. Gets a big bounce, spins a little bit. Nicely played shot. So Birdie Kim will have a birdie putt at the 17th and a chance to take the lead when we return.
This is while we were away from more than 200 yards. The second at the 18th for Young Jo, trying to get in that +5 number, which leads in the clubhouse.
Tough shot. That thing was shin high above her feet. And it's just with the wood, the opening is 30 feet wide, uphill by 60 feet. This 18th hole is brutal.
So Young Jo just about officially out of it. Over to Birdie Kim at 17.
With a chance to take the outright lead, and this is hard to believe for a young lady who has had one top 10 finish, only made 9 cuts in 33 LPGA Tour starts.
Well, this putt downhill, Gary, at 25 feet. It's pretty flat around the hole. I don't think it's going to do a lot.
Yeah, the tendency has been to overread it.
She's looking right at the hole, Gary,
Yeah,
not
she
looking
is.
left.
Yeah, it just won't break. It just won't break. Good speed.
Good putt.
Yeah, it was a very well struck putt. I think that was probably right where she was looking.
She looked like she was looking right at it, but her putter blade was left.
How about Morgan Pressel?
Well, she said she looks at those leaderboards. This is the price for it. She knows what's going on.
That is one KG 17-year-old right there. Here's Young Jo, whose second shot landed in the thick rough here at 18. Needs to hold this out to match Lang's +5 score.
Johnny, you looked at this earlier today.
This shot here?
Yeah.
This is not pretty dead. This is a tough shot here because if she's got to almost bounce it into the fringe, otherwise it's going to go way long with no spin. So it's pretty tough to get inside of 10 feet from here. Maybe 1 and 3 you get inside 10 feet. This is thick stuff. This has not been touched. No divots over there. Just thick. There's nothing like bluegrass in Denver. You want to play out of tough stuff, try that. Come on here to Denver and try this stuff. They can grow grass here thick. Look at that thing kick left, but she played for it. Might hit the pin. She needed that to hit the pin.
Very, very good shot from there regardless.
Yeah, she gave it a great try.
Best she can post is +6. And so that kind of makes it a Birdie Kim Morgan Pressel duel on the course. Brittany Lang in at +5. 17.
Pressel's second at the par 5, just trying to lay up into position.
Go, ball. Run it out.
Asking for it to run out a little bit. It does. Now up the green, Birdie Kim for her par to remain at 4 over. All right. Confidently hold. And she'll take that short walk, only about 50 yards to the 18th tee.
I mean, you got to give her a lot of credit, Gary. She's done nothing to warrant being in this position. You know, if there was a betting going on, she'd have been about 500 to 1 odds to win this thing.
Again, 1 top 10 on the LPGA Tour and 30+ career starts. Heads over to this 18th. We've seen some damage at 18 a long time ago. Lorena Ochoa came to this hole at +3.
And she hit this ball, in case you just tuned in, 2 inches fat and pulled it.
She was 1 off the lead at this point, and then Brittany Lang for her par, that was to post +4. So Ochoa really fell back at +7, and Lang is at +5. So par has been scarce, not only through the week of this championship, but especially on this final pressurized Sunday here. Toughest green to hit, easiest fairway to hit.
I think it's the toughest hole in women's U.S. Open history recently.
Par 5 for the members here at Cherry Hills, but a par 4 here in this championship week. Michelle Wie with the honor will play first here. And if you just joined us and were wondering what has happened to Michelle Wie, the 15-year-old amateur playing in the second to last group, was a part of the 3-way tie for the lead with Morgan Pressel and Karen Stupples, but began her day with a double bogey and just has never recovered.
I'll tell you what happens in those first couple holes when you're young and inexperienced and have the lead or share the lead. It sort of sets up the whole round, and it's a shame because she was the gallery favorite along with Annika Sorenstam.
This is Rick right down the middle.
Well, it's a good vision for Birdie Kim to be able to follow a good tee shot, Dottie.
Well, no question. I think it's probably been pretty difficult for her today playing with a struggling Michelle Wie. I give her credit for hanging in there. Sometimes that's really, really hard.
Yeah. Wie at +10 and Kim at +2.
But this hole will make you nervous if you're playing by yourself in the evening. Lake's sort of saying, don't duck hook it and don't block it in the right rough, even though it's a 40-yard wide fairway.
Oh, she's taking a driver, Johnny. Wind is helping a little bit, but there's really not much of it out here now.
She's hit some wipes to the right. Her swing, she has a tendency to cut across it at impact. And so we'll see if she can overcome that.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the middle.
So the first piece to the tough 18th puzzle in the fairway for Birdie Kim. By the way, young Joe 2-putter for bogey, +7 for the championship.
Pressel's third at 17.
From 81 yards.
All right, brave shot. Just carrying the water.
Don't go anywhere. Plenty of action left here as we take you to our NBC studios in New York for the Lincoln Financial NBC Sports Report. As Morgan Pressel battles for this championship, we told you that her mother lost her battle with breast cancer in September of 2003, and this was Morgan Pressel telling us last night about those traits she inherited from her late mom.
Well, a lot of things. You know, she was always big into telling me to try 100%, 150%, 200% on everything, and you know, if say you don't make a putt on this hole, go to the next hole, you're going to make another putt. You know, and you know, she was so competitive, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I take from her is my competitive spirit, because I'm really competitive out on the course. So.
Could definitely feel and see the emotion in her voice as she talked about her late mom, dad out in Florida, and her grandparents here watching the 17.
Lengthy birdie putt for Karen Stupples. One that has been overread to the left almost by every player. That was kind of a last ditch hope for her. +7.
She had a good chance being the reigning British Open champion. She really had the most experience among all the leaders, Gary?
Yes, she did, John. No question about that. It just all kind of came apart, especially she's only hit 7 greens out of 17, so iron play definitely not good.
I think Morgan Pressel, she looks at Birdie Kim and says, I can dust you. I'm 17, but I can dust you.
She said she could dust the field at the beginning of the week. That's That's how she's been all week.
Well, Roger, this is a putt she's got to be a little careful with.
Yes, it's slightly downhill, and it looks like it has to drip a little bit to the right.
Just slightly.
Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness.
What a beautiful putt. Gave it a chance, left herself with nothing coming back.
Pace was perfect.
It actually went left in the middle of the putt, Gary.
Yeah. And very, very difficult to read.
Kind of appropriate how it comes down to 18, isn't it?
Well, I thought at the beginning of this week that it would come to the 18th hole and somebody either make a birdie or a bogey or something will happen.
That beast of a par 4.
Well, here's the most important shot Birdie Kim has ever hit. I can tell you that. We've had two players, Gulbis and Lang, both block it in the right bunker within a foot of each other, and both of them make bogey, both with chances to maybe post a number.
Well, Johnny, she has 186 to the front, 193 to the flag. Uphill, what wind there is slightly in her face and from the left. This is a 7-wood. This is headed out to the right.
And in that bunker.
I'm telling you,
believe that?
Those three balls are within a foot. All three players that had a chance to post a number have hit it within a foot of each other.
And they've hit good bunker shots and just haven't been able to.
Well, it's a trick putt.
Top it off.
Where that hole location, if you hit it underneath the hole left, it just doesn't break.
Well, I think, too, they were guarding against going the left bunker, which was no chance.
It's a hard shot. You got the ball above your feet on 18, 5-6 inches, and it's hard to hit a good shot. See if Michelle can hit a good one.
163.
Stay left.
Sounded a little thin.
There's nothing harder in golf to have a level lie, pretty level lie to a green that's 60 feet above you or 50 feet above you. It's just easy to block it.
Brittany Lang watching in the clubhouse, wondering if +5 is going to make it. Birdie Kim in that bunker, and Pressel, you just saw arrive at the tee at 18. And Morgan getting ready to hit her shot here. She's hit a couple of low bullets here during the week over this 18th water.
Well, sets up perfectly for her little low draw. You got 40 yards of fairway. They hit down the right side with a going hook. She's going with the driver.
Well, that low bullet she hit earlier this week nearly only cleared that water by about 2 steps, but it left her in perfect position.
She hit it as hard as she could, Dottie. She just ripped that one. That's the farther you get it down there, the easier this hole gets. You see the side slope on this fairway. It's got a huge right to left slope. Leaves herself a good angle for her draw. Her little draw, if she can just scoot it between the bunkers, one hop it on there, she's got a chance. She's so happy.
Safely across. Up ahead. Birdie Kim in the bunker. Only 2 players have won the Women's Open in their very first try. Patty Berg in 1947, Kathy Cornelius in 1956. So much history with Morgan Pressel, but history as well with this 23-year-old from South Korea.
Well, we might not see this again in our lifetime where you have in the top 3 players, you got 2 amateurs. You just don't see that, Dottie. It's amazing.
No, you don't, but I think it's really neat that amateur golf has been so big a part of Cherry Hill's history. You know, Jack Nicklaus finishing second here in the Open as an amateur and 60 to Arnold.
There's Birdie Kim's lie on the right. Michelle Wie to play first here to the left.
Well, they both have good lies. But Michelle needs to land it just on top of this right-hand plateau and let it feed down to the hole.
Everybody's been leaving this sand shot short.
And it's into the wind too, Johnny.
Pretty classy touch right there.
And I'm sure Michelle Wie is going to hear the murmurs that she hasn't played the junior circuit much at all and hasn't won a lot and didn't close the deal today. But I don't know, guys. She's just been impressive to watch outside of this day, outside of this Sunday.
It was pretty exciting to think a 15-year-old might win the biggest women's championship in golf.
Well, she told, her caddy told me walking up the hole that she'd like to have this on TiVo so she could rewind it and start again.
Well, it's the most important shot of her life right here. What Birdie Kim needs is par Kim.
Birdie would be nice too.
Well, this player's only gotten up and down out of a bunker 6 of 27 times all year. Not exactly a strong stat.
He's aiming out to the right quite a ways. Just looking way over in here. Did she get it there? So to hit a scooter, it might be good. Look at this.
How about a birdie, Kim?
Are you kidding me? Look at this.
Wow. Talk about great moments in USGA history. My goodness.
Morgan Pressel just got robbed.
Birdie for birdie at 18.
That is just like a Larry Mize at the Masters right there. Just a no-brainer.
Changed her name to Birdie Kim just in time to perhaps win the biggest championship in women's golf. So that's going to force Pressel to birdie behind her. Another look.
It came out really low. It was not a pretty bunker shot, but it came out real low. A scooter runner. And what a shot. Just a total, maybe destiny shot. I don't know.
Only the 4th birdie at 18 the entire championship.
And Morgan Pressel goes back to her caddy and says, "Can you believe that? I can't believe she just made that." That's a Bob Tway against Greg Norman at the PGA at Inverness.
So Lang watches Kim at +3. That's just one of the great all-timers at a major championship right there. 72nd hole. And her name's Birdie. It all goes together. Tip of the hat.
Great galleries here, though. They appreciate that shot.
Record galleries here. It's been incredible from the very first practice round this week.
And Michelle Wee's thinking, that's amazing.
We missed her par putt, 82, her 2nd highest round ever on the LPGA Tour, but the leaderboard watcher knows what she has to do here. Stupples to play first here, Roger.
194 left to the hole for Stupples. Ball well above her feet here. Really hard to get this ball to stop, Johnny, when it comes slinging in here.
Can you believe Kim made that bunker shot right?
No, I can't, and neither can Morgan Pressel. I turned back to look for her reaction, and all she did was look down and shake her head back and forth.
Well, you never know. To birdie this hole is almost a miracle.
It's a pretty good looking shot if it's up.
Get up, come on.
No.
Just sort of like most every hole the back 9. Just these gals have missed club just a little bit. But that was a good swing.
Only one can catch Birdie Kim.
Well, she said she wanted to know what the deal was when she came to the last hole.
Here's the deal. Birdie to tie.
Just to hit the green is about 1 and 3, Roger.
Yeah, she might want to reshuffle right now, Dottie. 179.
Got to hit short. It's sort of a low scooter in there.
And she's hit it very low at the center of the green, trying to chase it up. No.
Oh, a little unlucky. Another foot left. That might have scooted in there.
A little unlucky there, Park. A little unlucky. Come on, so get it up now. Up and down this path.
Her caddy, Sammy, wants her to get it up and down. How about in?
Well, you heard her say up and down doesn't matter. She knows the deal.
Yeah, she's not playing for second. Her caddy, Sammy, thinks she's playing for second, but
not a bad lie.
Not down on the bottom of it, but
there's no. The trouble is with the shot. There's no real landing area. It's not like, well, you almost have to hit it, bump it into the first cut of rough, and then hop it on and run it in. You can't land it on the green, I don't think, from that line.
Again, this championship on Thursday, birdied 5 of the first 8 holes, announced her arrival immediately in her 3rd Women's Open, came back down to earth to even, and has stayed right there near the lead the whole week.
Well, she doesn't make this pitch shot. She just got beat by Miracle. I mean, the most unlikely person to make a miracle. At the start of the day, there probably weren't 5 people pulling for birdie. Kim, nothing wrong with her. It's just that she just wasn't on anybody's sort of headlines to do anything, and she didn't have ever done anything that you would think that she would do anything. Figure she'd probably shoot 75, and that'd be the end of it.
Yeah, we thought Michael Campbell was a bit of a dark horse coming out on Sunday last week, and this makes Michael Campbell look completely predictable.
And Birdie Kim didn't have a 3-putt green the entire championship and shot a 72, and that is some really good play in there. Roger, you right there with that lie?
Well, I got a peek at it, John. It's not too bad, but you know, what are the odds of chipping it in? I guess it's possible.
It's not the kind of chip you even think about making, you know, is it, Roger? I mean, there's no real good-looking landing area.
Well, that's all she could be thinking about now, but not normally. No, you wouldn't be thinking of holding this at all.
Well, we just saw a miracle shot. Is there possibly 2 miracles within 20 minutes?
Well, she won't go down without trying, that's for sure. And as she said earlier this week, 2nd, 3rd, doesn't matter. I'm here to win the tournament. She'll give it a chance. Now, she's got such experience in these USGA championships. She told me last night that it would be something that she pulls on.
You know, just for this one hole and maybe number 9, it would have been good to carry a 9 or 11 wood. You know that?
Well, she does have an 11 wood.
Yeah, I would have thought she might have used it on that uphill shot there. It's tough to hit an iron on that flat to this raised green, but here we go, Raj. You can hear how thick that grass is.
Too much to ask at the 72nd hole. And with the winner is Kay Cockrell.
I sure am. Congratulations. You have just won the Women's Women's Open Championship.
Yeah. Still, I can believe now, and I'm very happy. Just only I can tell.
Can you believe that you finished with such a dramatic shot? Tell us how you were able to hole out that bunker shot at 18.
You know, really, I don't think I'll make. I just tried to get close. If tried my best, make par, maybe I can. If make bogey, still I have chance. I just only think try to par. Let's get close to hole. But I never think about those balls going in the hole. It's amazing.
Well, it did, and you've just won the 60th Women's Open Championship. Congratulations,
Thank you very
Dan.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Changed her name last fall to distinguish herself from the rest of the Kims, the most common name out there in South Korea. 7 Kims began in this field. I would say that she's distinguished Birdie Kim. It's going to be a birdie on a USGA championship trophy. Birdie Kim.
Well, it's just so tough for Morgan because I think she thought she was in the driver's seat. Rogers, just after going into this hole, even with Kim, probably figured, hey, Kim's going to bogey. She's in the right bunker. I'm going to make par, and I'm going to win this thing.
I think that's what she's going to ask herself when this is all over is, how did I lose this thing? I think she believed she was going to win it all the way.
Yeah, Roger, this for solo second for Morgan.
She didn't lose this championship.
It's a breaking slider downhill. It's right of the hole.
Instead, it'll be a couple of amateurs who tie for second at +5. 17-year-old Morgan Trussell and 19-year-old Brittany Lang come up short to Birdie Kim. Let's go back down to Kay.
All right, one of the other big stories was Michelle Wie. Michelle, you had a chance to win this championship. You put yourself in a position. You got off to a tough start. Why did you get off to such a tough start, do you think, today?
Well, you know, just realized that next tournament I go and I have to get my little ball GPS system because it was lost out there. I was confused, and you know, from the get-go, it was a little, you know, I mean, not a little, it was a lot. Just couldn't get things going.
All right, well, sorry you didn't have the day you wanted. You sure provided a lot of drama anyway. Let's go back out to 18.
Karen Stupples finishing up for her par.
Tough finish for her. She was in great position about 2 hours ago. It looked like she might win this with her experience being the reigning British Open champion, and you can see it's all probably coming out for Morgan Pressel right now. I just can't believe it.
Well, she should hold her head up high. She played fantastic golf.
A little bit of the same feel from the leaders this week that it was at Pinehurst last week. Stupples, Pressel, and Wie, the three leaders coming into today, a combined 22 over par other rounds. But it was Pressel who hung in there till the bitter end. So it's all being realized now by Birdie Kim. Follows in the footsteps of Se-Ri Pak. Third Korean to win an LPGA major. Se-Ri won this championship in '98 Black Wolf Run. Grace Park won Nabisco last year. One more look at the birdie by Birdie at 18. One of the most memorable in major championship history to win the Women's Open. Only birdie on 18 in 2 days. Came in a perfect time for the 23-year-old from South Korea. Lang comes up short along with Pressel. And you get the feeling there'll be some tears shed for Pressel, but she's got plenty of golf ahead of her. Just 17 years old and an amateur. Next time we meet in the summer of USGA Championships, the Senior Open. It begins Saturday, July 30th, right here on NBC. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, at your local news. Then tonight on NBC, beginning at 7, 6 Central, it's an all-new Dateline, followed by Law and Order, Criminal Intent, and Crossing Jordan. So for the entire NBC golf gang here, Johnny Miller, Dottie Pepper, Gary Koch, Roger Maltby, Kay Cockrell, Jane Crafter, and our entire crew here, which worked so hard all week long. Dan Hicks saying so long from Cherry Hills, where Birdie Kim is the champion with a birdie at the 72nd hole.